scar and a jug of wine, and a straight razor if you get too close to me.
I went to hell and the devil said, welcome back, Mr. Better, good to see you again. And I never had a chance to be myself, but today is the day I'm gonna give hell. Look at you, girl, look at you, girl, look at you, girl, look at you, girl, look at you, girl. I went to hell and the devil said, welcome back, Mr. Benson, good to see you again. And I never even had a chance to be myself, but today is the day I'm gonna get hell.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Great to see all of you in the chat once again, doing weekly comic reviews. So I hope you're enjoying that. Plan to be mixing it up and talking about a lot of different stuff. So we've got a few loyal viewers already jumping into the chat. Sorry about the music, guys. I hope it wasn't too loud. I tried my best to moderate that volume, but you just can't get it quite right. So if none of you are deaf, please continue to listen. So we got Matt LaRock. He says, yo, that's a new account. So if you're new here, you're checking us out for the first time, go ahead, like and subscribe, keep hanging out because these will be coming at you regular. We got Amoral Fat 40 Ounce, shout out, greetings. Asian O, the Time Outlaw, hail chat. Yeah. Hail to you, my friend. Always good to see you. Good to see a familiar face too. We got How to Draw Comics Academy. That's the Barton Bros. He says, hey, it's great to see you hanging out in the chat. I know you're excited. You're excited because we're talking about a John Malin property owned also with Mark Poulton. Must not neglect the co-creator here. Graveyard Shift. We're up to issue 5. This series has been going on for quite a while, guys. So long haulers here, all of us. Been following it since the inception. Even did a review on Omega Storm not too long ago. Well, not too long ago. It's like a year or two. But yeah, it's been quite a ride. So it's great to see so many issues come out from this series. So John and Mark have really invested a lot of time, a lot of themselves, a lot of effort into building this up. So looking forward to talking about the latest one. Harbinger of Chaos, I want to hear what Twitless has to say about this here book. Twitless is not here, so get yourself ready. We've got a great panel, excluding Twitless. Makes it all the greater. Bueller. Don't know the reference. We got Matt C, and he's asking, are you ready? All right, Matt. Altercation, good to see you as always. Thank you for being here, my friend. Oh, liked and subscribed. Great. Perfect. Always appreciated. Salute to you, sir. Let's bring on the one who's already jumping into the fray. Couldn't resist commenting in the chat. Matt, what do you have to say for yourself?
Let's go. Happy to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. It's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We got Matt Fowler in the chat too. Hey, good to see Fowler around. It's been a little while. All right. Speaking of fun, let's keep cranking it up. We got Piper.
Hey,
Welcome. Great to see you, Piper. How are you?
I'm alive.
Alive. Yeah. We'll try not to play too rough on the stream, even though it is a comic review,
Well, I'm not gonna hold back, so nobody else needs to either.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, we have the king of not holding back. He's always ready with the hot takes. It's Literature Devil. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on.
Great having you here. So thank you for joining us. I know there's already been some discussion, a lot of opinions already on the series. Is this the first Graveyard Shift I know Lit, you said you read the rest of the series. What about you, Matt and Piper? Is this the first time you guys are reading Graveyard Shift?
No, I've been all the way current up through 4.
Oh, wow.
So,
I'm
Yeah.
not current. I read 4
Okay.
and 5, obviously.
No, that's good. Like, I think it's important for people to be able to discuss a book that stands just on its own merits and not in the context of having to read the entire series. You know, it's a bit much to ask.
Yeah, that's what I figured my opinion would be useful as like a complete noob
Hmm.
jumping in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, there are a good deal of regular readers for this series, so I can quickly bring up the campaign. It's been plugging along, and it holds its totals pretty consistently. So it's always got people coming back for more. 1,500 backers on this one, and about 127K raised. This is, par for the course. There's been a few standouts, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but for the most part, people are coming back issue to issue. Is that common to see in the indies? Do people typically drop off, or do people normally stay with the series once they've committed to it?
I think if the series is good, gets a built-in fan base, they're gonna see pretty regular numbers.
I wonder if this is a feature of the indies, because typically it's in the mains where you'd see like the first issue come out, and then the second issue has a huge drop off, and by the time they're on issue 10, the series is ready for cancellation. So
Typically, typically if there's a huge drop off after issue 1 didn't do its job.
right. That's a
It's
good
tough
point.
for the indies because a lot of the indies they don't have that regulation or the check of the editor or whatever. So it's the threshold of quality is not necessarily there anymore. So it is kind of tough to gauge it.
Okay.
That's why I feel like the issue 1 of if you're going to do a series is even more important, is because it's got to be something that people are willing to wait pretty long time between issues. And keep them excited. That story's got to get them wanting to know what happens next.
And it's interesting with Graveyard Shift. Like issue 1 was written, a decade or more ago, because it's the book that Mark and Malin put together. Mark and John put together when they were presenting their portfolio to get hired in the mainstream. So, yeah. So it's good to see where exactly this is going to be going from there, since they were picking up from a trail that was left very early on in their careers. There's also I'm going to quickly show it, a variant cover campaign that was put out for this book. Did fairly well as well. So almost 600 backers and 40K raised there.
Nice. So that's where I didn't even realize that's where that cover came from. I feel like I've dropped off the planet for like a year.
Yeah, that's the cover I cribbed for the thumbnail. It was hard work, worked up a bit of a sweat there. Cutting out the characters down here, and I had to paste them to the right there. It's like, how do I get this thing to fit, lengthwise? Because this is tall. But it's a nice cover. This is a mail-in piece, though.
It's got the Black Hood guy in there from that one infamous piece.
Yeah. Is that Black Riding Hood, or what is that
It's
character?
I forgot what it was called. Yeah, it was like Black Hood or something. Where it infamously had the N-word a lot in there, and he hunted vampires.
You do scream the N-word a lot, when you're blasting away at vampires. I've found.
Listen to Kanye West and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're Highland all over the place and blasting those vampires. So, that's how it goes. What's the synopsis here? All right. The Graveyard Shift must recover a vital component from the prison planet of the monsters Pararox. Will they get to the Old One's homeworld in time to save Lilith and the universe from the Black Emperor? Well, that's where the N-words come in.
That's why they brought
What?
their own black kid, so they could say the N-word for them.
Well, that gives you the pass. It's a very clever writing tact.
I didn't
what-
say it. This character did. Okay.
Yeah, respect the art. I mean, it worked for Tarantino's entire career, so why not? Why not?
I'm pretty sure Tarantino made movies around scenes where he says the N-word.
Yeah. You just start there and like build a script out.
Like, I want to be an Australian that says the N-word. Okay, I'll make Django real quick.
Yeah. I just fit that in. That works, kind of. What new secrets hide in Castle Dracula? All this and more in the next exciting chapter of Graveyard Shift. 70 pages of devastation. Quite a hefty read. Yeah. That's quite the pitch. Sounds like there's a lot going on in this story. Let me bring up. Actually, let me bring up something just out of interest here. So here's the my bad. Do I have this all up? Yes, I do. All right. So here's the opening page. These are all the creators. Oh, Barton is an editor, and he's checking out the stream. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not Literature Devil though. One of the Bartons though. So just so everybody's clear, there's no conflicting interests here on this panel. Everybody's an objective person giving their take. Nobody's on the take except for me. How's your father? Says send Malin the link. Malin will be coming on for an interview after the review. So yeah, definitely stick around, guys. It should be exciting.
He did tune out the stream, so he is aware.
Good. I'm glad. So we should expect him. We get to ask all the questions about Graveyard Shift once he pops in. So who wants to give us a synopsis? Do you guys know I always ask for these? Twitless usually handles the
action. It's a
yeah.
it's a lot of action. Explosions and stuff is in here, and some funny dialogue, I guess, but a lot of action and some stuff definitely happens in there. I'm pretty sure things are going on. It's like, okay, there's bullets and there's explosions. The black kid steals something that was very important. I think that's probably why they brought him along. And there's bad guys everywhere. It's very, very, as I said, very Liefeldian, very Image Comics. So the thing is about this one, as far as I remember, they're assaulting this place, and they're having a big like assault of these different squads, because in a Graveyard Shift 4 or 3 or 4 or something like that, they the bad guys, the Shoggoth people, took Lilith back to the planet of the old ones, and so they started Mr. Vlad Blood formed this crusade with an alternate universe version of Van Helsing, who's also a werewolf. And then together they formed this gigantic army of metahuman type people, including like they're from like all sorts of different genres. Like a evil Superman character is like different. It's like a Loki guy with like a Loki helmet. He wears a t-shirt or something. Like there's a lot of different guys. It's basically just a giant army, and they assault this place, and they have like a knockoff of Johnny Cage, was kind of funny. He makes movies and stuff. I think sunglasses and everything. And they had to get this green disc, as far as I remember. And this green disc does something, and it kind of gets them to the planet of the Elder Gods, and they're gonna go over there, and they assault the planet. Blood reveals that he knows about Lilith cheating on him with this version of Van Helsing, which I guess shouldn't really surprise him, because she was also cheating with Blood on Mick from the other guy on the team. So she's got that world-class cheer gene in there.
Okay.
But still, they're going after her to save her. And then we see Lilith is in the planet of the Shoggoth people, and she's being crowned a leader, I think. And then she's at a coronation. and then some other stuff happens where they reveal their plans or something. That's as far as I know.
Far as you know, like you didn't read to the end of the book.
I did read it to the end of the book.
and it just kind of left off, kind of unfulfilled, I guess.
It was like
unresolved.
I think the end is like they're going to go assault the dark matter core of the planet after they assaulted the planet with meteors or something, something like that. So that's kind of where it left off.
It sounds like there's like
good at cliffhangers, like the biggest cliffhangers you can possibly imagine.
Interesting. It
But
sounds
they're
like
well
there's
done
like
too.
multiple like storyline threads that are just progressing along. I mean, is there like a central theme in the book or a character arc or things that, would make itself encapsulated?
Not really. That's kind of the issue. it's a lot of action in here, but also a lot of then this happens and then this happens and then this happens and this happens. It doesn't really connect logically. It's like, oh, here's a cool scene, and the scenes are kind of cool, but it's more like I don't know who these guys are. What do they mean? How strong are these guys? How strong are these minions? I'm not really sure. It's just like, okay, this guy blew up. That was pretty awesome. I do like to see things blow up. It was pretty cool. It's again very image, very Liefeldian. I guess like the thing I immediately caught that I immediately thought of was like X-Force or something, where tons and tons of characters. Liefeld loved making tons and tons of characters to just throw around, kill off, things like that. A lot of action heavy, very high testosterone sort of thing. I do know over the course of Graveyard Shift, there is a lot of references to like different things that are related to the horror genre and stuff like that. Like, oh, this guy's name is my assistant Jekyll and stuff like that. And he had this cannon on his ship castle thing called the Svarog, which is like a giant light that he used to kill vampires. It's pretty interesting. A lot of cool imagery there, a lot of destruction, a lot of violence. But as far as character arcs, I can't really think of one. In fact, when there's a part, and I think the fourth one, where Lilith is talking about sadness, and like I don't know why I keep slipping around with all these men and stuff. It's like it's like the first time we ever got like a look at her character. She's just been kind of like the love interest of Blood, the betrayer of the undead man. I forgot what his name is, but I think his name is Mick.
Mick.
And then
Yeah.
and then that's kind of been it. She's got kind of just been like a sultry character who kind of also fights by their side, very very violent, very very supportive of Blood, I think.
Mhm.
And then but the first time we see her actually get any sort of character insight other than violence is when she's cheating on Blood with the different universe Van Helsing, who is actually a good guy now. And she describes like, why do I keep doing this? I don't feel sad because sad is a feeling, and this is something else I don't even know. So but as far as overall character arcs go, not really. And even like story arcs, there's like pieces there, but again, it's like it doesn't really lead up to it doesn't really connect well. It's more like, and then this happened rather than because of that this happened.
Well, so
It's almost like there's too many characters to develop them all deeply.
we
Give them any
are
depth.
we're like officially we are like in the hot zone of the review now, right? Well read.
Yeah. Give whatever take you want. So
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Piper. I just stepped on you.
No. I just before it moved on from there, that was one of my takes too, was just because there's so many characters, none of them have much depth.
So okay, this is my like minority take here. This is like my Black Hood take. I think this never promised to be like a character rich, like in terms of character development, sort of story. But I really think Malin, I think he's more consistent than Ethan in a way of pitching and delivering on that 90s expectation of what.
Oh yeah, he does that to a team.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know,
There's violence, action. Again, it's like it's like almost, I would say almost 1-for-1 Liefeldian. Now I do know there is a huge demand, huge fan base for that style of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna.
actually
Oh,
giving
sorry.
that to people, which is interesting. So the challenge then becomes, at least for me, my challenge throughout reading this, it's been like this for 5 issues now, is, am I going to critique his, if he's successfully replicating and extending that expectation and rewarding that expectation, like he's making the 90s great again. Am I going to am I going to critique that approach to comics? Or like, because there's trade-offs with that, because then I'm going to say, I'm going to stop looking at his comic, his particular offering, or this team's offering here as much, or do I just critique this comic, and before the 90s and since the 90s, there's been a lot of ways, obviously, Malin knows this, there's a lot of ways to do comics. You don't just have to do it this way. But I just want to use the measuring stick that this comic says it would like you to measure it by. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think you need to be a mind reader in terms of what the readership is expecting from these books. I think it's fair to critique a genre or a form of storytelling that might not be suited to your tastes particularly. And you can say, these are the reasons why, and these are the things that don't work, but this also happens to not be my style of storytelling. So,
I wanted to amend that I didn't mean that not having any character depth was a bad thing. I was just stating that that's how it is. Because otherwise the entire thing, I just thought it really does feel like reading a classic.
Well, doesn't it hurt though if there isn't any character depth? Why do you care about anything happening over 5 issues if we're not able to actually identify?
That's the downside is everybody is cannon fodder, it seems like. So you're not attached or care about the fate of any one person all that much.
Right.
I don't care about any of these guys dying at all. Like there's I think I want to say in 3 or something like that, there's like they introduce like a serial killer machete man. And then we have like the gang led by Van Helsing from another universe, and this guy gets killed by the machete man, and like this, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, no, he got killed." I'm like, that was a cool death, but I don't care about the character. I don't care about any of them.
Yeah,
it was pretty awesome. I could see some blood, but I don't care about any of these characters really. And like, there's another one, and I think in 4 or something like that. Like this, which is kind of actually made me laugh. Her death actually made me laugh because like she's like going on about, you think you can stand up to the queen of something.
Oh yeah.
And then she like gets stabbed and killed. It's like, oh, that's what an unfortunate timing. And then there's like one kid I'd never seen before who's like part of the team. He's like crying over her, like, oh no, you died. Like, I don't know who you are. I'm laughing at her death at the moment because it was really funny.
That's the first one I read was 4, and right away, with like a series of deaths at the very beginning, I was just sitting there like, "Damn, bruh."
Yeah, that's great.
First of all, I was like,
I bet these guys are really interesting at one point. Maybe.
I was like, "Who are these people?" I was like, "Okay, Graveyard Shift," but it's like these are not the Graveyard Shift guys. These are like Task Force X or something, Direct X, whatever. I don't know. I forgot what the name was. Division X, I think it was.
Yes.
But it was like, who are you people? Like, who? I thought I'm reading Graveyard Shift. Who are you guys? And then we're going into like, okay, we're doing interdimensional stuff, and there's like we're fighting the old gods now, which was set up, I believe, at the end of the previous one. But
yeah.
Like, we're not opening up with Graveyard Shift. It's like we're going to open with Graveyard Shift, and then they meet these guys later. It's like, oh, here's some random dudes. I don't know who they are, and they're dying also. Some are introduced to me, and they're dying immediately. And again, their deaths are cool and sometimes funny, but I don't care about any characters.
So what's the thread that kind of carries you through the series? Because this is issue 5, and it sounds like we don't know anything about anyone other than a sequence of cool deaths that have occurred.
It's a love triangle.
Oh yeah.
We know more than that. Come on. We got the old gods planet that we've been hyping for since the Antarctic pyramid, right?
Mhm.
So we've been looking forward to this for 2 years, I think, to see like what does it look like to actually get there. How are you actually going to defeat a planet of, probably impossibly strong and unable to kill gods, but everybody's showing up to do that. Like, can it be done? How is it going to be done? And I really think, I guess, like, simply put, I really think it's delivering on what the expectation was. It's a return to form too, with I said it in the chat. Is it Tommy Patterson? I want to get it right. The artist, Tommy Patterson. I know people had it was a bit of a risk to hire Jose Garcia, and to do number 4. He obviously delivers. Like, I was the first guy to bring him on a project, so I love his stuff, but he's not necessarily superhero material. It was actually kind of cool that he did try to bring him in. Like, that kind of risk taking sounds fun. It's not a safe bet, but Tommy Patterson is obviously better suited to what people's expectations are for this type of story, right?
That was one thing I was gonna touch
Mhm.
on. Is I love Jose, but his art didn't fit the
Mhm.
story of 4, or the story in general, or the genre maybe. So it was almost a little jarring because it's a little too on the cartoony
It went from
side.
Malin's like kind of like a Liefeldian image, like realistic art, to just what is this cartoon I'm watching now? What is this? It was so like bubbly and cartoony.
I
Like, who are these people?
absolutely love the idea of having a different artist, like different artists do different issues. I think that idea is really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a little jarring seeing that style with this story.
It may be why this number 5 earned more than number 4. I remember a couple years ago, people were debating, like, is it over for Graveyard Shift? There were a lot of factors there. There always is, but it's not over.
It was kind of like, how like in the Halloween series, it had like Halloween 1, Michael Myers, Halloween 2, Michael Myers, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Like, what the hell? Where's Michael Myers?
Where'd that come from? Yeah. No, I love Jose, and I absolutely love his art style. It's just for this particular storyline.
Yeah, a pinch hitter to really help something. Again, Malin likes to deliver. That's very important for him. And if he has to hire Jose Garcia to make sure he's delivering, he's going to do that. We're on Graveyard Shift 5 since I think it was 2018 that the first was crowdfunded. So 5 issues of 40-something pages each. That's a lot of content by CG standards. That's a lot of logos. So, and he's delivering.
Well, so the series sounds like it sets up events, and then you have payoffs for them in later issues. And really, since you're not following characters per se, perhaps you're following story beats and conflicts that you are looking forward to, and large scale situations and adversaries and things of that nature. And so you're hoping for payoffs, I guess, in the later books.
This stream is going to get me in trouble.
I mean, you're just supposed to be honest. I don't know. It's helpful to give frank
We're always in
critiques.
trouble with somebody by just
Well, so my question is, what are the payoffs here in this issue?
Again, there aren't really any payoffs. I mean, there's not a lot of them. We get big ones, like in the first few. There was a charge against the evil Van Helsing guy, like that, because but he was the one that betrayed everybody, that killed everybody, that for some reason gave Vlad this serum, and then turned him into a super cool, awesome, chiseled vampire, and then became his worst enemy. I'm not really sure why he did that. Still, I had to reread that a couple times. I still don't understand. But it's like, okay, that guy, the payoff there was like, okay, we defeated him. He's like the Dio of the universe until he dies. And then the next would lead us after that is Lady Shoggoth, which leads us to the old gods and the Black Emperor. But in order to have certain payoffs, we kind of need to set up a middle and an end. We need like a story arc. So a lot of times we just kind of this happens. Oh, okay. And okay, now this happens. Okay. I guess we're fighting this guy now. We do get smaller ones, I guess, every once in a while. It's just not as big as I usually have, or you usually would expect. Maybe you get some, you do get some, but it's not as connected as everything else. Like with this one, Pax, whatever the main bad guy. He's like, it sounds like Paradox, but I'm not sure that's it.
Paradox.
Paradox.
Paradox. I think it's Paradox.
Paradox.
But he's like, he pops up in the beginning. He's like, I'm the evil Paradox man. I am here to defeat you on behalf of the Black Emperor. And then other stuff happens. And then our guys kind of like engage him. He kills a few of them. And then Batman Man comes in with his ship and kills him. And like, oh, okay, I guess he's dead now. I thought, usually you would have something like where they come up with a plan, like they find out his secrets or his weaknesses, and they kind of put together a clever plan. We see how clever the good guys are. But again, it's kind of like 90s level image, Liefeld style storytelling, where it's just we need more guns, we need bigger guns, and then he dies.
That's a through line. Action wise with Graveyard Shift is there's a lot of really cool looking superhero dudes, but the way that they attack people, with a couple exceptions, there's like a dude with like a ball and chain. There's a brother who throws some chains around, but like most people just have guns, so like the fight scenes really just kind of amount to like throwing missiles at people and stuff, and that feels a little like I'm actually kind of expecting, like this baddie right here, like like I'm thinking like I want to see something other than guns being, like energy beams, or there's a lot of ways to like do like the techno kind of.
What really hurts is you don't know what the power levels are. So like a regular, like an action film, like John Wick or something, right? One of my favorite action series of all time is you kind of know where everyone stands. Everyone's like a relatively normal human. They get shot in the head, they die. So you kind of know, oh, this guy brings out a gun. You're in trouble. This guy's bringing out a shotgun. This guy brings out an assault rifle. You can kind of gauge the threat level of that guy. But with this, because there's so many power levels and you don't really know who can withstand what, it's like there's a lot of flashy guns going around, a lot of violence happening, but you don't really know who can withstand what. So the tension is kind of like all over the place or non-existent, because I don't know. If it's like I take a shot, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know how much each person can actually withstand, so you don't know if the current panel is a move that's going to kill somebody, or.
And by the time you figure it out, they're already dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
So I do this just to see this. The stream's gonna give me trouble because I got to review this honestly. But for the coach, I do want to help.
Well, so
I think it's great to look at, though. Like, I think.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
The art is really fun to look at, awesome to follow.
I like the violence. The violence is awesome.
Right.
That's why I watched Invincible, the first season. I didn't really watch it for the story. I watched it for the violence.
Well, it sounded like people were saying in the chat that the third issue was the high point, and that's just the fourth one. Maybe the art was off, and fifth one sounds like maybe the storytelling could have been a bit tighter, or maybe a bit more satisfying. I don't know what's missing here relative to the rest of the issues.
The third one was pretty interesting. The third one was pretty cool because I think that's kind of where you get the alternate dimension Van Helsing and stuff like that. First of all, I was like, oh, there's alternate dimensions. But it actually turns out to be pretty interesting overall because we added another alpha male character into the group, added some tension between him and Blood. And then Lilith, of course, being and having the galactic cheater gene inside of her, instantly, wants him inside of her as well. And then, so then we have Mick.
Lilith, by the way,
Lilith,
mythologically, it makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, then we have with Mick, her old husband, and then Blood, both being jealous of the new guy she's cheating with. And then then the fourth one comes along, like, why are you chasing after her? Like, why do you care? Why do you want her back? Then in 5, we find out that Blood's like, okay, we're going to annihilate the planet with these rocks, going through these portals that go super duper fast. We're going to pelt the planet with them. And there's like, oh, what? That'll kill all these people, but what about Lilith? Will she survive? And he's like, well, that's going to just be a risk we have to take, which puts him in direct confrontation with the good Van Helsing man. And they started fighting and stuff like that. It's pretty cool because they're fighting, and they're the two alpha male characters of the series. But yeah, so apparently, like, Blood's like, you know what? And he's like, I knew you were cheating. She was cheating on me with you. I was spying on you the entire time, that sort of thing. So there's like this big blow up there. So there are some payoffs here and there. But overall, the big stuff, like the story arcs, like the complete story arcs and everything, it comes in pieces, and it's kind of like this. It just pops in, like this. Oh, this happens, which it kind of would make it feel relatively shallow. But that is the style of storytelling that we're using. It's like the critique of Liefeld's art. That like around everyone is like, oh, his art sucks, and it's the anime is so weird. And people could say that, and it is very weird, but it works. Like it draws people in, and he became one of the most famous artists of the time. Now it's like this: is it off anatomy? Yes, but people want it, and people like this style of storytelling too. Draws people in. It's not particularly objectively good, but it is interesting enough because of the violence, the over the top nature of it. It's like a cocaine high. Like you just sniff the cocaine, and then like, oh, this is awesome, and then you kind of come down. It's kind of what happens, but it's like very relatively shallow in that respect. Like,
you come down and you're like, oh man, who killed all the pets?
Exactly. I'm not really getting anything too much deeper. But I am getting what is there. What is there is done well. Like the violence, the conflict, the over the top nature. Like Paradox guy coming in is all huge. He's got this metal suit. Like armies of superhero type guys going up against this army of things. I don't know what they are exactly, but they're just monsters of some sort. And it's pretty cool to see everyone getting killed and cut to pieces and all that stuff.
What did you guys think, like story wise? Because the Vlad Blood guy, there is like narratively, like there was a lot of intentionality in trying to demonstrate that he is willing, probably to go too far.
Yeah,
for the greater good. Like that's a big theme here.
Did come away going, wow, that guy's a dick. So
Also, I saw that part. I was like, that's wait a minute. How did he come to this characterization of him? Because that really wasn't him in the other books. Like he was, he had this vengeance thing going on, and he did have some violence streaks to him. He did pull off some big moves there, but he didn't really come off like as a I'm going to coldly sacrifice my men sort of guy.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so this is unique to this book.
Yeah, because that's what it seemed like to me anyway. And I read the second one where he has to attack the White House because Van Helsing is the president or something, and then apparently a big portion of Congress are vampires, and he killed them all. With I think his sunbeam thing. So it's like, okay, well, he did all that. I think he might have killed some innocent people. I think that was him. He might have, but he really feel like the type of guy who would like, oh yeah, you guys all go to your deaths. I'm going to sacrifice you callously. It didn't really feel that far gone. And between the first one and the fifth one, it didn't really feel like he underwent events where you could clearly see a change in him where he became colder. Now, one thing I could
cheated on.
Yeah, but actually, one thing I could say is that maybe he got cheated on, and that made him cold for specifically the fifth chapter of this book.
It's a cuck-induced coldness. Is that what?
Where he's just like, you know what? I got cheated on by Lilith. I don't really care anymore. I just want to win.
You literally dated Lilith. I mean,
is there any reference to the fellatio head in the fridge?
No, as far as I know, I don't think so. They're kind of too focused on fighting gods and stuff.
Okay. You guys are getting called out in the chat. So this ha 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 ha, which is actually Student of God, but he says, guys, this comics campaign had a book with all the power levels and info. So fake fans on the panel.
Oh,
I didn't get
well,
those.
All that.
I
These are-
never,
These are the record books.
I never tried to imply that I knew anything prior to 4 and 5.
Hmm. I had no idea there was like a source book actually. So
Me either. I just read the 5 graveyard shift books.
I mean, does that change anything though? Like, having all those power levels enumerated in a source book, does it change
I
the
don't think so
story?
in this case, because we're just getting new enemies and everything a lot all the time, especially with the letter books. Maybe it could help with the first 2 books because we have one bad guy, which is like the Dio of the group, which is Van Helsing, because he made them and everything, and he kind of destroyed them, remade them, and then he became awesome, well beloved, became president. So
Yeah.
he was like the really big, like first really big bad guy. So I could see that the power level thing might be more relevant the first 2 books, because we can kind of see they're kind of on the same level here. Like he's a werewolf, this guy, Blood's a vampire, thing like that. So that could have worked there. But as far as the power levels being detailed and emphasized in the writing, it's kind of hard to tell in the later books.
And a lot of people usually don't want to do homework before they read their comic, but if they're into their comic hardcore, then they like collecting that information,
Oh yeah,
especially about their favorite characters, but maybe not beforehand.
we have the rule during the Last Jedi era where like I shouldn't have to read supplementary material
Yeah.
to understand it.
Mhm.
Well, where does this issue rank in this series? Because this is the 5th one, and we have 2 longtime readers on the panel. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I really, honestly, the chat's gonna hate this, but if you've read 5 issues by now, you're probably into what this particular offering is pitching. Like you're not just experimenting with something. Like you want something from this era, from the 90s era, from the Liefeldian vibe, and you want it to honor that and still surprise you. And I think Graveyard Shift is still doing that. I was, as much like Piper, as much as I like Jose Garcia, it's a risky move to put him on to illustrate 4. But even then, on that review, I respected the choice to say, I'd rather get this out there with a talented guy who can deliver than to not deliver at all, not to fulfill on this, because I was, because things fell through with an illustrator or whatever it was at the time. So even that was kind of a pro move, so to speak. And I feel like the story, even though, like a lot of folks are saying in the chat, like, and we've been saying here that this is, maybe some action scenes feel truncated, like maybe we've got paneling, but like we're not like really stretching out the paneling and really exploring a scene cinematically. We're really compressing stuff, entire action sequences. Like maybe we want to just do it in one panel. There's a heritage to that approach, and this Graveyard Shift has always said we're going to do that and only that, and don't expect us to do otherwise. So it's just consistently, I feel like this is one of the better Graveyard Shifts. I'll say that. Which is
It's better in which
after
regard?
7 years. Yeah, I think it's above the middle watermark in terms of what Graveyard Shift has been promising and delivering on.
Well, which way do you feel like it surpassed the previous Graveyard Shifts? Guess I'm asking for some details.
In hindsight, I think it's better than 4 because we're not going to have that discordance between the illustrator and the writing and the genre now. So it feels a little more true to form. Patterson feels like he's another one of these guys who's probably, he's clearly not as fussy as, he's not trying to do stuff that you're going to frame on your wall like Alfecci. He's kind of a workaday guy, but he's delivering, and he speaks in that register visually, like with his illustrations. And that's the guy you need. that's the guy that probably should have been here from the start, I think, so that the work actually gets done. Malin's the whole team here, and it's a rather big team, is needs to get things done, but it needs to be in a it has to hit a particular register that actually syncs with the genre and the intent that people want, and I think they actually have it this time. It really just doesn't feel, even though people might not be talking about these campaigns as much, like this is in the forefront of how people discuss CG books, is discussing the content on the pages as much as they were like in 2019, 2020 or something. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed that these books they're still coming out. They're still coming out with a lot of intentionality and care, I feel like, is what I'm seeing. This is the genre. This is not what I was reading in the 90s, but I can respect that this is what Malin and his team were reading in the 90s, and they want to continue to explore that. And you know what I mean? And I really think it's a solid offering. I actually liked what Vlad Blood was doing with this, more just even story wise than what I got in 4 or 3. Well, not 3 was good. Then maybe 2, or some of the earlier stuff. It legitimately keeps ratcheting up, and I can't imagine, other than some small things like, why is it asteroids? I'll lay the plate in a second. Like they're just like minor like technical things. Like, okay, show Mr. Blood, like he's okay with collateral damage. So maybe he's like, he just picks up all the dead dudes from his team and all the spaceships that he wrecked in order to win, and maybe he throws that at 16,000 miles a second at the planet instead of these rocks. Like the rocks you don't have to be asteroids; they just have to be going 16,000 miles a second, right? So like, but those are like technical kind of narrative details that would be kind of fun. Where it's like, okay, not only is he willing to like, make big plays to be a player in the earlier fight, but that actually has a payoff towards the final battle in this story instead of just introducing some rocks. Those are like quibbles. That's like minor stuff. I like
the thing is that the whole rock thing in the first place is kind of a Deus Ex Machina. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, oh, by the way, we can launch gigantic. We have a problem, right?
Yeah.
The problem is we're going to assault the planet of the old ones, the old gods. It has the population of 3 trillion on it. Okay, that's a really big issue. It's a really big problem. Wow, that's a lot of people they have to go through. And then, the answer is we launch a bunch of meteors at it. They'll kill them all. Oh, okay. Well, all right. I guess problem solved then.
Yeah.
I know he was working on the background or something like that, but there was no like, we're working towards an answer. He just kind of functionally had the answer. Like, he was just had the answer from heaven, which is God of the Machine, God, Deus Ex Machina. So,
but wouldn't it be cool to like show up and say like, I'm gonna, like, everything that it cost to get here, I'm gonna throw all of that at this planet. I'm gonna throw all these bodies
cool.
at the
That's
planet.
kind of what it would have been like. That's kind of what it would have fixed it. Okay, would have fixed it. Where, like you said, like, remember, okay, in the beginning of 5, or not, maybe not the beginning, but in the beginning battle, he does like launch this cannon that kills a lot of their own people.
Mhm.
And then what if he used like the material? Like, his plan was, okay, I collected a bunch of material from that and a bunch of debris, including our own debris, and I'm going to launch that at the planet. Then we're like, okay, he's been planning this from the beginning. Okay. Instead of like, okay, you've been quiet for weeks. What the hell have you been doing? That's none of your business. Oh, okay. Okay, we're about to assault the planet. Found a way to destroy the entire planet. So it's pretty easy. Also, speaking of the old ones, old gods, what the hell happened to Cthulhu? They summoned Cthulhu. He showed up, and then they just fought Van Helsing, the werewolf, and then Cthulhu kind of went back to sleep. Like, why did he even show up? I had to go back and reread that a couple of times. Like, what did he actually do? And as far as I know, the answer is nothing. I don't know. What does anyone know? Maybe I missed it. What is Cthulhu shows up like the second one, and he just kind of doesn't do anything.
Just guest appearance. Yeah.
He just shows up. Okay, well, it's cool. Oh man, they cut someone Cthulhu and Dracula. This is going to be cool. And they fought Van Helsing, who then revealed himself to be a werewolf, which is a pretty cool twist. And then they had Dracula showed up because they kind of Chekhov's gunned him earlier. And then Cthulhu shows up. Like, oh my goodness, this is going to be insane. And then they do fight the Van Helsing and Dracula, but then Cthulhu, this guy does nothing. The guy's like, I'm here. How you guys doing? And he kind of just leaves.
Well, we got to jump over to the interview part pretty soon. Just quickly, though, I'd like to just touch on your thoughts on the ending, because we did get a request in the chat to get a quick take on
the
that.
ending is they barrage the planet, right, with these meteors and the holes that make them go really, really fast. And then they go, okay, it's like it's that light. It's an orbital strike. The planet is cracking open. Then I think they broke open the planet to get at that dark matter core, and that's kind of where it ends, right?
Satisfying, or did you feel like you wanted more?
Well, I mean, it's set up for because they set up that as the goal. Like, okay, we know it's a dark matter core. That's where we want to go. So we got there. We cracked it open, and we're going to go in there.
Mm-hmm. But they also, crucially, they want to save Lilith. So being too successful at blowing up the planet spoils this. I mean, it it messes up this love triangle situation, right?
They get into fight about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, please, Piper. Go for it.
Like an overall synopsis or whatever. Overall,
final takes. Go ahead.
Yeah, like my overall take is I didn't originally start getting into these books because I thought I was not the target audience for these books. Like they're not my usual style of what, I'm reading in comics. But just reading 4 and 5, there was so much nostalgia of just 90s action comic in general that now I want to go back and read all of them. Like,
there you go.
And probably, follow the story from here on. So despite, some complaints of, it's lacking here and there, it's interesting enough that, I want to go back and know the whole story now from the pieces that I got.
Cool. Matsy, final thought.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for a while. I think I was since 4 is when I really got invested. So I've been waiting for a while to see what is this actually going to, like, how is he going to be able to top 4 basically? And given if you let the comic tell you what its expectations for itself is, and you ride along with that and see if it fulfills on those expectations, it is a pretty wild ride. And I feel like it's being steered by a guy that does care about this genre and this medium, and the team is putting out something that it's better. Like perfect is the enemy of good enough. I think this is more than good enough for what it asks you to measure it by.
Lit Dev, final thought.
Well, what it wants to do, it does very well. Gives you the violence and things, the over the top nature, the hyper masculinity of it, done very well. I mean, the ending of the first couple where you get a fine finale with Dracula and Cthulhu and werewolf Van Helsing, very interesting, very cool, very very interesting battle. But since he's like their main villain, arch villain, and then but with 5, the opening was awesome. That part I remember because while I didn't feel the substance to it, I did like the action, the artistry of it. The art was awesome. The violence was really good. Like all these people dying, all this violence happening. So if the goal was to bring back the 90s era hyper masculinity and violence, it did that to a T. It was very interesting to see that play out.
All right, cool. Thank you, everybody, for all of your takes. And with that, let's bring on John, who can maybe unpack some of the violence for all of you.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello,
John
hello.
how's it going,
I
guys?
feel like it's been ages since you've been on the channel, so
Yeah, it's
appreciate
been a
you
while.
popping in. Yeah.
Hello, hi.
Last time you were here, we talked about Omega Storm and a head in the
Hmm.
fridge giving fellatio. So
Yeah,
thank you. For
Literal
that.
frigid.
greatest moment in CG and in probably comics. Period. Really, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if there's anything in comics that has actually topped that in terms of disturbing content. You know,
No.
I mean, it's pretty fucked up to fuck a living head,
Yeah.
to rape a living head through the esophagus.
And then
So-
shout out Gail Simone right after.
Yeah, and,
That's my favorite.
Why not?
dedicated to Gail Simone.
Well, so we were talking about, we've got two longtime readers on the panel, Matt and Lit Dev, and Piper.
Yep.
She's jumped in later, which for new reader perspective.
Yeah, I've been listening, so I'm trying to stay on top of it here.
Wait a minute.
Mhm.
You were supposed to be listening.
Oh, I'm gonna get Lit Devil too. And this guy, I thought he was my friend. Look at him throwing me.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, rake him over the coals.
Yeah.
Kind of curious what you and Mark are building towards, because that's kind of the open question here. Is like, what is their intent? There aren't character arcs. There are,
Well, there
There
is. You guys actually talked about it, and I was like, wait, why haven't you guys recognized you're talking about like the character arc? It's Vlad. Vlad is like the character arc. He was not this thing. He's becoming a tyrant, like right in front of you. You're watching a man become a tyrant, and you're
Okay,
gonna
so
have
I
to.
was right.
You're gonna
That
have
was,
to have- You're gonna have to ask yourself why, and there is an answer for that, and we're hoping that it'll be taken care of in the next issue. So. Yeah, I mean that is your character arc is Vlad. So everything else is small little things, but also supplemental stuff. I wanted to bring up the source book stuff. I think you guys are right. You shouldn't have to go to somewhere else to be like, okay, this guy's a 6 or whatever on the power scale. Yeah, stuff should be in there, but I think probably for Mark and I, we're looking at this more like it's. At least for comic readers, it's kind of common sense, that unless it's like explicitly stated, this guy is this. I mean, we had who was that one character? I can't remember his name. We had the big sledgehammer, Wrecker. We had Wrecker in issue 3. He was on there for like, I don't know, 5 pages, and when he died, people were like, people were telling us they're like, oh man, we really liked Wrecker, So it was.
I thought the death was cool.
You
because
don't have to do a lot to kind of get people invested, but also I don't think you have to necessarily over-explain everybody's powers. But the core of Graveyard Shift, Mick, Vlad, Lilith, that was pretty much established in issue 1. That it definitely Mick and Lilith are like Wolverine. They're 2 Wolverines. You can shoot them all day long, and they're just going to regenerate and come back at you. Vlad is basically a vampire. So this stuff is probably within the realm of what you would expect, a vampire to have. Enhanced strengths. Mick can lift a boulder. We showed him lifting a boulder. He was going to crush Vlad in issue 2, or volume 2. Yeah. So, I mean, this stuff's there. Other than that, I mean, the story and where we're headed, it's like the Odyssey. It's this big journey. It's not like 20 pages, 20 pages, 20 pages, 20 pages, 20 pages. It's all been kind of unfolding. And I've been telling everybody since I believe it was issue 3, before issue 3 even came out, volume 3 came out. Our whole plan was to get bigger rapidly and to expand the rosters so that we could get to this big climax. The ship, Castle Dracula, holds like 10,000 individuals as a mix of superhuman, Like your typical superheroes are on there, your super villains are on there, your monsters are on there, your monster genres on there, your military's on this ship, all going out here. And I've been telling people online straight up, they're almost all going to die. Like that.
I was going to say that's a
We're
lot of
building
nice
it
cannon
up.
fodder.
We're going to throw them all
Kill it.
into the meat grinder, which again, and like I'm saying, I'm hoping that everything's going to be taken care of in the next issue. If we have to expand, we'll have to expand into another one. But yeah, we have a lot of plan. Cthulhu was brought up. Cthulhu's still in the plan. But that's further down the road. The idea is we basically close our first real big arc at the next book. But the whole point is like that's getting there. Then we got to bring them back, and who's coming back and in what form are they coming back is where it's going to get interesting. And then what happens when they get back to Earth? Division X, some of the people stayed back there to guard Earth. So they might have to guard Earth from Graveyard Shift. So things are going to be different after this next issue. So yeah, Cthulhu's still there. He's still got a place to happen, but that's further down the road. We're three-quarters, a little past three-quarters of the first movie, if you would, this larger bit. But in the sequel, all pieces have already been set up for where things go past this. So Mark and I worked pretty hard to kind of set up an actual story here. So, but yeah, I think after next issue, if everything lands the way we want it to land, I think everyone's going to feel pretty satisfied about the why of Vlad and some of these other things that are going on with the relationships. Everyone's going to be going through a process. Everyone's going through a process whether they like it a lot or like it or not in the next issue, and that's going to change a lot of things. So whoever makes it through. So
Also,
I missed the point. I think Matt was talking about. He was saying something other than the meteors to launch it. I missed
debris
that.
and everything.
Was that?
So in the beginning of the first battle of the fifth issue, there's a point where Blood kind of launches his own cannon, destroys a bunch of his own guys, and that instead of the meteors, it would be the debris from that shot. It's like, okay, I was planning to destroy a bunch of guys. We need a lot of debris to pelt the planet with later. So that was his point, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Just so
debris would be okay, depending on the size. I think density of the debris matters. So these kinetic strikes, they've talked about using what is it, like tungsten or something like that's the idea. We've actually talked about it on stream not too long ago. Shane brought up I think it was, and I was downplaying the whole thing, and the whole bit was that it was a stupid idea, and who the hell would ever launch anything from space and hit your planet with it. And it was, anyone ever finds that, clip it, because I was bullshitting the entire time, because that was exactly what we were doing in Graveyard Shift. I was like, yeah, no, it's a stupid idea, but no, it's a great idea. And I think Literature Devil said it was the God in the Machine thing, but it's like, what do? We pull out a ruby, or on defeating, what was it, on Parox or something like that? Where was it you were talking about the God in the Machine? The devil?
Oh, it's because it kind of pulls it out. Because it kind of comes up the answer essentially. So what the idea would be,
also the meteor stuff was actually set up in Omega Storm. So,
I didn't read that. That's the one I didn't read. So
yeah.
Okay.
So it was already in the works. So because I knew this is where the plan was going to go. So I wanted to be sure we started establishing that stuff. But it's just being reestablished. I thought of 5 as like The Empire Strikes Back, because it starts out with this battle on Hoth, and you're kind of thrown into, you're like, oh, what's going on with Luke and Han and Leia? Everybody, a general, there's a gap here. So 5. What was that big Hoth? Like that's the whole Prison Planet stuff is Hoth. And when I went and did Omega Storm, I built everything around getting us to Hoth. So since we never got that, at least film wise in Star Wars, that's what Omega Storm was basically showing. That whole setup. So, but yeah, I mean, we introduced the that he was collecting materials. I don't recall how much I went into explaining the full meaning of it, because I'm not trying to show all my cards to everybody. But then we, finally get there and to destroy the planet. It ends up destroying more of the planet than they wanted because of unexpected consequences with the dark matter. And then we're just going to go from there. And then I'll be drawing the next one, volume 6.
Oh,
so
rad.
Well, Tommy's passed away, so he can't do it. So, yeah. So R.I.P. Tommy Patterson, incredible guy, incredible work. Want to be sure, I say how great his work was in this book. Thanks to Clayton Barton, who stepped in as editor on here. Overseeing the whole process and helping Tommy out along the way. Just incredible teamwork with those guys. Who else did we have in here? Did we have an inker? Yeah, I think Ben Smith. Yeah, Ben Smith was an inker. Anthony George returned for all the colors. I know Clayton was doing a lot of work with Anthony George. And, I mean, Clayton is an instructor. You know what I mean? He teaches comic art. Anybody interested in learning comic art should go to his channel. He's right there, How to Draw Comics Academy. Go over there, learn from Clayton. Incredible talent. So I brought him on to oversee all this stuff. And let's see. Letterer Alex Schurkenbach.
Yeah.
So he's a new guy. And he did an incredible job. He's a military guy. I think he's retired and now he's just kind of lettering for fun. We paid him, but it's just his thing. So I sat in there, as I always do with all the lettering. I always sit in there and nudge everything, get it into the spot that I wanted in. Kind of, do a little teaching myself, I guess, on how to get these balloons out of the way. It's a forgotten art. Get me going on, I can go for hours on it, but lettering is a forgotten art. Everybody has to be retaught except me, because I know it all. But incredible team, proofreaders, everybody. Thank you guys for working on the book. Well, let me give them shout outs, because these guys actually hang around. James Murphy, Matthias Rodriguez, Steve Dye. You guys remember Steve Dye? Steve Dye out there.
Yeah. I had drinks with Steve in Florida. So
I've used these guys as proofreaders numerous times now. I recommend it for anyone. Matthias is Thor, right? Thor Odinson, I believe. So if you guys find them online, they're always looking to do some proofreading
I know
work.
him.
Yeah, I think these
for Ethan too.
Because I even had Mandy do some proofreading. I think it was on like a Megastorm. But I think these 3 people, when I use them, also kind of separately, like I let one go over it, another one go over, another go over it, and I compare all the notes, and and Mandy's notes were good, but these guys were good, but they're also like saying, hey, what if that happened or something like that. They have little things like, hey, I noticed here this isn't expressed well. Maybe if you did it like this, so these guys, between the 3 of them, put in those little bit of extra things where it makes me look smarter, and I like that. Thank you to all those guys out there for all their hard work too. So a lot of time a proofreader is unsung, but guys, incredible work, incredible team there individually. They don't know they all work together, but in my eyes, they're all working as a team there.
They're your secret proofreaders. Yeah, keep them all.
And Mandy's great too. You guys, Mandy's a great proofreader too. So I'm terrible with commas. Like, so I'm like, should I put a comma here? Should I not put a comma here? What is the punctuation? I just make it up half the time. And then I'm just sure that by the end, my proofreaders will set me straight. Even they disagree. Though, when you look at proofreader notes, you say, oh, this guy said put a comma. This guy says don't use a comma here, and X, Y, Z. And you're like, eh. So you just go with 2 out of 3.
I was about to say best 2 out of 3.
It can be pretty tricky sometimes, especially when you start adding in semicolons and
no.
all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So.
Thankfully, I stay away from that. I don't recall anybody ever trying to put a semicolon in there. So
I think semicolon might be too formal for comics. I think.
Yeah.
Is there a typo in one of them where the dude says, "Who is Guy?"
Who is Guy? Oh, is this in volume 5?
I think it's in 5. Yeah,
The book
it's
you
in the
guys just
prison.
read?
Yeah,
Who is Guy?
he says, "Who is Guy?" and it seemed weird.
Who's saying it? Where is it? I got the book right here.
It's when the teams run and the other teams run into the big paradox or paradox
Arrows,
Guy.
Okay. Oh, who is Guy? Oh no, he's Russian.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a bad accent. So again, Omega Storm. That's all established. He talks. Red Dawn is his superhero name.
So
and
who
he,
is
and he
Guy?
talks terrible.
Who is Guy? Yeah, that's why I was like that. It sounds like it reads like a typo, but it doesn't. So I was stuck on it for a second. Like that's gonna bug me
It's
if I don't
challenging to
ask.
do accents.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
kind of
When you're trying to
with,
type accents, yeah, it's
Yeah. How'd they do that with Colossus? I don't even remember because he was the one with all the bad Russian puns, right? In X-Men.
Yeah,
I
about
didn't
like that, but better probably because probably Claremont doing a lot of that stuff, So.
Yeah.
I kind of like this character in the book, this Black Quasimodo guy. This guy was pretty awesome with the chain.
Oh, Jekyll. Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was pretty fun to watch. I like his
I liked
dialogue.
him. Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
N-bomb dropper. These fucking
Yeah.
characters, man.
Yeah.
We need more of those. Like, let's add some more.
Are you guys channeling some Tarantino there?
He's gonna come away. He's gonna come away from this review with, okay, need more N-bombs. All right. Like
Yeah. So that's more my influence. Oh, and shout out Mark Poulton. Yeah, Mark and all the good work he does too. But yeah, the N-bombs, that's all me. I'll take full blame for all that. And anything that's disgusting, degenerate fucking conversation, like the warehouse.
Those are the best parts.
So that's
what
me.
was that warehouse scene? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's more setup. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff coming from that as well. Oh yeah, Gun Goth.
Yeah, I promised Mark, since he couldn't make it, that I would at least plug Gun Goth tonight. So you better check this out because this book actually looks pretty kick-ass. It's Mark
got
Poulton's
werewolves.
Gun Goth.
I'm so down.
Yeah.
For the graveyard shift so far, like all the 90s stuff, which I think is a big focus of the series so far, is done really, really well. But then I mean the violence, the disturbing scenes and stuff like that, those made it really interesting. I liked all those. That's why the only scene I know from Omega Storm is the head scene. So those are the
most memorable. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it was I'm sure it's been leaked numerous times now online, but yeah.
Yeah, you can't keep something like that a secret for too long.
I tried. Yeah, Ethan. The moment he saw it, he leaked the entire thing. I was like, "That's my closing scene. What are you doing?" And whatever. He took it down, but it's just like,
you want to check out?
You work so hard for years to not show that. That wasn't even in the script to Tommy. That whole scene, as I recall, until the very last moment, in case he decided this was too much for him. Like, I gotta get him to draw the book before I give him the ultimate fucking head fucking scene. So, because the worst case scenario, I would have just drawn the epilogue there. But Tommy
also,
did it, no problem.
One thing that made me laugh was these two guys get lost in the hallway. And like, oh man, I'm not gonna get late again. I'm going to the fucking Minotaur. That was pretty funny.
Oh,
I liked that little back and forth.
Yeah, that's Arc and Kronos from Omega Storm. Yeah, they're fun to write. So
fortunately, they get rescued, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys want to do the trailer on Gun Goth? Give a little bit of a plug
please.
to Mark. Let's play this thing. A lot of intense imagery there. Real nice. Good job, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody grab Gun Goth when you can. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and only because it's come up before, like Mark will do basically first draft of the script, then I'll go over it. And actually, this script, if I recall, was initially a script that went all the way to the end of our first arc, and I took off a bit of it so that we could split that other part into there. To accommodate a little bit of room, so it wasn't, because it was a lot of stuff happening, like very tightly, and even still, what he has is probably gonna have to get chopped down because he's trying to introduce some more kind of archetype genre stuff that I don't really think we have room for. By the time we close out, I feel like our characters are largely in place for what we need. So some of that is probably going to get moved into the Earth. So when we go back to Earth and start dealing with that, then we can implement some of his other ideas there. And then I like here, I added in the Lilith scene with the whole temple and crazy shit over there, the warehouse scene. But I just give everything a once over, dialogue, all that stuff. And then it goes off to the proofreader. So once the art's done and lettering's done, it goes to the proofreader. What's that?
I'm a Mexican, not a Mexican.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Have you been trying to take
writer.
over more of the writing duties? Like, are you trying to expand?
Well, the direction was my call. Because I think how Mark would have played it is that he would have used the original Van Helsing, the evil Van Helsing, as kind of like your Cobra commander. And then it would be plot of the issue, and then next issue, new plot of world conquering and another. That's where I think he was going with it. But I wanted to go bigger in scale. I didn't think that it would be good to just kind of keep things at the same level. Like for me, ADD, stuff like that. I just feel like you're going to eventually lose interest on that. And I knew that we could always go cosmic horror. I'm a fan of, I like Lovecraft, but I'm a fan of Mountains of Madness. And I listened to that audiobook numerous times, and I loved it. So that's why Cthulhu is in there in the first place. Originally, it was just going to be sea monster, but I wanted to get this stuff going into larger directions. And and the whole thing was when Mark was doing the script for 3, it was like, wait, I thought we killed Van Helsing in 2. And Mark's like, well, he's back, and now he's got another plan. I'm like, we got to really get rid of this guy, and move the story forward. So, because in 2, he actually is like dying there dead when Dracula is coming through, as I recall, at the end of book 2. But now it's like, okay, we get 3, and he's going right back to here's new story with Van Helsing. I'm like we got to go bigger, man. We got to get past this. And so that's when I realigned the entire direction of the book, and put it.
I didn't really understand why they kind of brought him back to life. Like, he was dying and they found him. Like, oh, because he's also a werewolf, we just fixed him up. And then he became evil again.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess, okay, he's back. Okay.
Yeah. So that was me getting in there and being like, we gotta move past this stuff. Sorry, he's got to die. And so just killed him off again, and for good. So he's not coming back ever, to the best of my knowledge.
I like the fact that y'all kept the other Van Helsing. Like, we have like a second alpha male character,
right?
In the group.
Yeah, and we call him Brahm to separate him, so you don't have to keep saying the other Van Helsing. Brahm, Brahm is the good Van Helsing, so he's more of our kind of Cable stand-in, shoulder pads and whatever metal arm stuff. So, but he's a good character. I liked him. And when Aaron Alfecci debuted him in the book, it was great. Aaron was great, and you guys were talking about Jose and all that. The thing was, we had a stretch goal. I think it was that if we hit a certain amount on 3, that we would pre-produce the entire book before we raised money for the next one.
That's right.
What I learned after raising the money for 3 is, and Aaron is a fantastic artist, fantastic, but we would still be trying to get probably volume 4 done if I had kept Aaron on. So it would not have been possible to tell this story, even get it to issue 6. We would probably be looking at the next 4 to 5 years just before we can get to issue or volume 6. So as great as Aaron is, he can't meet the schedule. So that's why we had to go with somebody that could meet the schedule. And then Jose popped up, and we're like, all right, well, let's go. Let's get this stuff going, because we got a lot of story to tell, and we can't wait 6 years, to get there. So right now we're already on a year and a half, 2 year in between volumes, because they're not just 48 pages. They expanded to 70 pages. So I think the last 2 books were in the 70 page range. I could go back and double check, but I mean, so even for that, what are $25, we've added more content, just so that these things don't get too crowded, but every page you add is, that money just compounds. It's not cheap to do that stuff. So when you raise money for a 48 page book, and then you're going to 70 pages to make sure that you're giving a story breathing room, and a little more depth at points, a little more character pieces versus the, like you guys mentioned in the beginning, a lot of the explosion stuff. We got to have moments. I mean, we did in volume 4 with Jose, right? We had a double page spread sequence just dealing with Mick and his claustrophobia. And so, just trying to get people into into the minds of some of these characters a little bit. And then, not to mention like supplementals, where we went into like Lilith's childhood, basically evil stepmother. And, she's got daddy issues, clearly.
She clearly has issues of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Mick, happened to sit there and watch his wife get passed around, but still having.
Glad Blood became based. He's like, I don't care if Lilith dies. It's just, I got to kill this planet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we established that in volume 2, actually, that there was disagreement between him and Harker all the way back there. And he basically had to override Harker for that obliteration beam, or whatever beam it was that he used in Washington. To blow up the streets of Washington and try to kill Van Helsing, where Harker is like, the property value, potential damage to humans, and Vlad had is making a decision like, well, this is war, and these guys, in that case, is a monster. He's extremely dangerous, so I mean, you got to, and I think even Clayton mentioned there, it's the tough calls, that's leadership, so that's where you start separating yourself from, the grunts and the plebs, and you say, I have to be the one that is willing to sacrifice innocent people to save potentially millions of innocent people. So, you're gonna become the bad guy in a lot of people's eyes by doing that, and pushing yourself into becoming a tyrant, to do whatever it takes. And that phrase has been repeated in a lot. I think several of the Graveyard Shift books now. That's his motto, which is whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he started out as just a scientist, and now he's this fucking dude leading a ship filled with a mix of 10,000 soldiers, superheroes, supervillains, monsters, all into battle to save the entire planet that hates him. So,
did he have a significant turning moment in this issue? Do you think that's leading him to that path?
No. I think it's all been gradual. That he's really just becoming more distant from everybody. Even when you see Brahm track him down into the hallways, it's not. I guess I'm not spoiling. He's not protecting the meteorite plan. He's protecting the next plan. Like I said, we're working at plan this thing out. So
It's not rocks behind those doors.
there's another plan, 2 plans actually. There's 2 other plans that Vlad is guarding from everybody because they're too fucked up.
Have you hinted at those, like dropping clues on them?
No. Other than that.
Cool.
Not that I can recall offhand. I don't think any of that stuff's been dealt with yet. The pieces are in place, but you'll see. I can't go into it, but when you see it, you'll say, "Oh, that's fucked up." Yeah. So,
Well, I wanted to quickly ask more about the graveyard shift. But so, if you're doing the art for the next issue, does that hit the production schedule for Godlike 2?
Well, Godlike 2 is being worked on now. Then I'm going to work on a smaller thing, which is going to be launched here soon. And we will be raising the money for Graveyard Shift 6 next year. And then that'll be, my 2026 work. So I'll be drawing that through there. And we're going to try to keep it to a real tight 48 pages. And we'll see how well that goes. And like I said, it may have to go into another issue if it ends up expanding beyond that. But Mark and I, we're going to have to rework the script and make sure we get all of our pieces in order and take out any fat, like the extra character genres he wants to kind of nod that aren't necessary right now. So with the Graveyard Shift series, do you look at it like each book is a piece of a whole, or do you approach each book as like a standalone thing? You know how like Nolan said he did the Batman movies, where it's like, no, we put everything on this one, and we don't know if we're going to make another one, but then they end up being a trilogy. Graveyard Shift for me has always been about getting to volume 6. We do have a looser, and you guys, you can go years back, and I've been saying this, and we've had looser plans for everything past 6, but it's always been about getting to 6. So if we can wrap it all up in 6, that would be great. We'll have to see though, because it's still a lot to do. And we got to make sure our small little moments that they still count, have a little bit of humor or heart to them. And while we're still blowing shit up. So if we can land all that in 48 pages and come to a success, land this story arc, then that's always been the plan. It's always been more Odyssey for me, like more like chapters, than sit there and get it all, done in one story. So even Godlike is just, it's just something that's going to keep continuing. We want to get something resolved, while we're going through there. But the bigger picture, the macro, is kind of what we're aimed at. So
6 is going to be the big payoff for longtime readers.
6 is going to be the massacre, the slaughter of all these people. Yeah. So
what's the I mean, it sounds cool to like do a story where you kill all the characters, but like if you're building them up, what's the narrative resolution for just having them all die? You know what I mean? Like it's like, all this build up. No, you're fucking dead.
You're not entertained, Will Red.
we have a plan, and this plan has been in place for years. Yeah. And I've even said it, like, we got. This whole thing has just been figured out for a long time. So, without spoiling anything, just trust us that we have a plan. And when you guys see it, I think most people will respect it. And, whether you like it or not, you're going to respect it and say, well, the pieces were there. They did set some of this stuff up. One of the secret plans has actually been hinted, set up. You'll see when you see what the plans are, you'll see that there were solid setups for them, and you say, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people mentioned on the panel that it harkens back to Liefeld's approach to, building out his universe, and like Brigade and Bloodstrike.
Mm-hmm.
Those books were all about introducing characters and then blowing them to shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's war. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is. It's war. And people are dying, and you don't expect your buddy to die, but your buddy dies. And that's what happens at war. And you can watch Saturday morning cartoons where nobody dies, and that's because it's for kids. But when you're at war, G.I. Joe, people would be dying left and right, like straight up. They just don't, because it's entertainment for kids. And so we're telling war stories, and I think Rob was telling war stories. So that's probably a bit of the difference in the approaches there. So, but the thing is, when you look at, Extreme, for me, the fault of Extreme was that, there wasn't much in terms of story or, in the characterizations. And I've been trying to be sure that we go in there and make these little moments. So there is a bit of characterization, especially for the core. Again, to go back to Mick's claustrophobia, Lilith being a fucking whore. Vlad was going to get a little bit of time in 6, but we're gonna see if we're gonna have room for that. I wanted to do a childhood, a little glimpse into his childhood as well. But I don't know if we're gonna have the space for it. But there's always the supplemental stuff. We still have even Omega Storm. There's more that is planned to come from that with Georgie Porgy, and whatever. I mean, all this stuff is all kind of connected in a way. So a lot of big plans for this stuff. But right now, the first big chunk has been to get to issue 6, volume 6. And that was another thing. It's just like with Extreme or whatever, working with Rob, even when I did Youngblood for him, we did a story. There was never a closure, never an oh, that was a satisfying read. Like that's how I felt when I was in reading, Extreme comics back in 92, 93. I'm just like, or you could even go to like X-Force when Rob went back to that, and what is it, the Return or X-Force Returns or whatnot, and he's fighting that. I don't even remember what it was. Was it an Onslaught character, something like that? This kind of pterodactyl looking energy thing. And it was just kind of wrapped up really quick. And it's like, oh, didn't really get that kind of satisfying end. It just ended really quick. And I was like, but at least I guess you got an end. It's like, I think Cable might have died. I don't even remember. I was just like, shit, yeah. But the art in there was fantastic. As always, the coloring. I think it was Matt Yackey in there coloring that too at the time. To try to be sure that we're hitting little character moments that are a little bit more meaningful. Even Lilith on that island with Brahm in volume 4, where she's, I think Literature Devil might have brought it up, where she's kind of telling you, like, she's got a big black hole in her that she can't fill, and she doesn't know if it's from the regeneration. Yeah, so she's fucked up. She knows she's fucked up.
Trying to fill that hole with dick.
Yeah, she is. She is. But she doesn't know if Mick is dealing with the same thing, or Vlad, even though Vlad went through a slightly different procedure.
Mick's is suffering. Like, he's just like, oh man, he's just my wife is sleeping with every man she comes across.
Yeah,
which is why, unfortunately, Mick is like the opposite of Vlad, where he's just kind of just rolls with it. That's why he's not really. He's like a huge guy, but not an alpha male character. He's kind of just rolls with it. He kind of just exists. But the other Brahm Van Helsing, very much like kind of Bloods. I wouldn't say equal, but he's on his level.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a good foil for him.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
I'm glad he stayed. Because I think that at the end of the issue where he shows up, they kind of go away. Like, okay, we're going off to another universe. But so I'm glad he came back.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, the next issue, next issue is going to be kind of crazy. So I can't guarantee Brom lives, but everything is going to change in that next issue. So,
Well, if he
but
does die, I hope it's
hopefully
brutal.
enough of a satisfying end to our first 6-issue arc. I mean, the old one stuff is going to wrap. And like I said, after that, the idea is that we're going to do, a return to Earth and what's been happening there while they've been gone on this. I don't even remember what it is, a 2-year mission, something like that, to get out there and do this and get back home. So things have been happening on Earth while they've been gone. There's other pieces that are just waiting to get picked up and played with. But like I said, those have always been kind of looser ideas that Mark and I have been holding on to. But yeah, getting to this and getting to 6 has always been my vision to get there and really just kind of get into the old ones. And I guess with me drawing now, regrettably, with the passing of Tommy, but now I'll be able to do it how I want to do it without having to kind of over direct anybody, because it'll just be me. So we'll be going in there and hopefully having fun with it. And big giant fucking Cthulhu-like monsters will be in it, and a lot of tentacles and
Hot.
things being eaten. So
Oh yeah.
and a lot of bloodshed, a lot of people being killed, and so
No, it sounds like people feel
couple
like
surprises, the special projects of Vlad that he's hiding from everybody will be unveiled, and like I said, hopefully those are like, oh shit, oh fuck moments, for people. If you have a heart, maybe you'll say, oh, Vlad's Vlad's
I'm raising brutality. Like, yeah, go get him, Vlad. Kill them all.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing superhero war stories, so like, did you watch Warm Films? Because there's they do there's a lot of introspection and intimacy. So if you're trying to draw from that genre, are there any one of them that maybe inspired you a little bit for the characterization and that you do for these stories?
No, I wouldn't say I'm like really diving into war films to figure out where we're going with this stuff. I mean, I like war. I like Patton. Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking like
I watch that movie probably twice a year, so
Hamburger Hill or Full Metal Jacket, or
I mean, yeah, Full Metal
Platoon.
Jacket's great.
Full Metal Jacket.
They're all great. Yeah. So, but nothing that I'm really like, oh, okay, this is people die in war. Like that's it. So, it's brutal. War is hell, and mix in some superheroes with that and see what happens. So, and I mean, again, Rob has been doing it probably longer than anybody else. Everybody else has still been kind of, I felt like, tied into like they're still doing like stuff for kids, and that's great. But Rob was doing what would be be called the ultra violence very early on. And
I do. There's one part in I think 2 or so where it's like the final confrontation between the regular Van Helsing and Graveyard Shift is like, bring me his head. I want to post it on my bedpost so he can watch me fucking his whore for the next 1,000 years. My thought was like, is that going to happen with Vlad? Like, he's going to get so angry at the Brahm that he's going to do that to him, to the kind of a mirror image of this man that he hated for so long. He's now becoming that deviant, that dark. I'm going to get revenge on you, Brahm, for stealing Lilith away from me, and I don't even love her anymore. I just want to
he might not. Yeah, he might not be much different from that. So
yeah, it'd be a really good callback, I think, if he's going to go down that dark a path.
Yeah, we have a plan, and once it's all kind of laid out again, hopefully people will at least respect it. That this stuff has been set up for a long time, and just kept absolute secret. I know it, Mark knows it, and I think Tommy might have known it. I think we told Tommy, And you know, I assume because no one else has talked about it, and Tommy didn't tell anybody about it. So that's just it. You know, like it's been very close. I closely guard all my stuff. You know, I want people to just read it in the book, you know, and not be spoiled, you know, until they're actually experiencing it. But you know, working with Mark, I gotta, you know, we bat things back and forth. But largely these are my planned pieces, and Mark is helping me get the story there. So
I think a lot of people have mentioned that the third issue is probably their favorite. Do you feel similar, or do you feel like they're all
yeah. Well, yes, Aaron did an incredible job, and Aaron would have been the guy. We just would never get this done. We'd all be dead. I'm already, you know, nearing 50. You know, do I have 6 to 10 years, you know, of dealing with delays? I don't know, man. I don't know if I can handle that. I mean, clearly I can't, you know. So Jose was somebody that was someone that was going to be much faster, but it wasn't as fast as it was going to be. So, and then Jose, I don't think he had a great experience working with me. So there was some drama.
Aww.
I don't even remember what the details were on that. I think we might have came on here actually.
Hash it out.
Oh yeah,
somewhere there was some Jose drama, and Mark came on with me so that we could discuss it, because it was like kind of.
I wasn't here for that.
Putting misinformation out there. So
yeah, I think Dark Gift was running the streams back then.
Oh, it might have been a Dark Gift stream. It could have been. I don't know. It was a while back, but yeah, he was. We were being bad mouthed, and it wasn't accurate at all. So we came back and we showed receipts. So what?
Yeah, I remember, John. We kind of baited you a little bit, and you were very professional throughout that whole thing. I think you didn't take the bait, and you. I honestly, that kind of changed. That turned some heads. It turned mine as well. I think you handled that well.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
I mean, you got a business to run, and you're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about that, you know, the card of professionals that you have in your wheelhouse, helping you to produce these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if we done anything, you know, we set up, you know, the teams and the ideas well. You know, so we're gonna keep running with the plan, running with the ball, you know. Hopefully watching each other's backs, you know, from everything, you know, the on the publishing side and the quality side, people like Clayton Barton on there, you know, and I'm such a micromanager. It was hard enough just for me to do that, but I needed some peace of mind. So I was like, Clayton, please come in here and help me out. To make sure these pieces are coming in, and Tommy needs somebody because Tommy started falling behind. I'm like on a mega storm, and I'm like, I just need someone to make sure, you know, these guys are
project manager,
you know, being watched. Yeah, like keep on there, because I'm up to here. So
how do you manage?
I need somebody with a little kinder mentality, and I guess I'm the hatchet man. What's that?
What's the process for managing artists? I've always been like curious about that, because I hear that they like to let deadlines slip. What do you do to keep them working?
You know, you ultimately you threaten to fire them, but
once a week.
You can't beat them with a whip. You know, you can't smack them around. You know, you try to motivate them with bonuses. It doesn't work. And then they lose out on their bonus, and then they come back and ask for the bonus because they missed too many deadlines, and it's in an agreement that you need to be doing this, this, and this for the bonus to work. And they blow through every fucking timeline possible, and then they still come back wanting the fucking bonus, and then you're the devil because they didn't get it. And it's like, it's right there in the agreement. Like Willy Wonka, is right there, clear as crystal, in the fine print. No, it's right there in their face. So it's they're not very big contracts, but everybody that has any significant job that something I would say is probably you're almost kind of irreplaceable. An artist, a colorist, they're onto a contract. So, yeah, you do your best, and you are definitely seen as the bad guy in that. So because once they fuck up and you point it out, a lot of them, they turn you into a villain, and then they got to fuck up more because you're just a prick. So it's a weird mentality that goes on, but I understand it. You can't, it's hard to accept that you're the one that fucked up. So you vilify kind of the other person for having expectations in you. So, so that sometimes is the case. Some people are, incredibly late. Some artists are incredibly late and apologetic. You think they're sincere in their apology, but they never change, so you can't keep rewarding that by just being like, let me give you more work, so you do what you can, but you're trying to operate a business and not a charity. I've loaned creators money, and advanced them money for work they've never produced, and somehow I still get turned into the bad guy.
So it's like some artist abuse, like par for the course. It's a feature of the industry then. Just
Artist
to keep them working.
abuse.
To keep them working.
We're pretty bad, Wilred.
Well, I mean that's just what I'm hearing.
Well,
so I don't know that.
If there's abuse, it's going both ways. You know what I mean? It's publisher abuse, artist abuse. It's you're trying to get a product out there. You're trying to hit a schedule, and the thing is like when you're in the publisher end of things, you're like, I got 5 guys lined up to do work. Each one of these guys have their own schedules on when they kind of expect things to come in. So it's a train, if the artist fucks up, then you have to go and you got to start talking to the next guy and be like, hey man, just a heads up, this thing ain't coming. This dude ain't working. You know what I mean? Like you might go hungry this week. You know what I mean? Like, what can you do about it? So it really is kind of like a hellish position when people are doing work for hire work, and they just decide to make their own decisions about when your book will be done. And a lot of times you're sitting there like, what can I do? It's not easy to find a talented artist to do the work. So sometimes you're just fucked. In my case, thankfully, I can do it all. So, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm so frustrated working with other creators. Like, that's why I'm just like, I'll wrap up the volume 6 of Graveyard Shift. And then, I don't have to deal with any headaches. I don't have to deal with any, hey man, where's this at? Because I'll be the guy. So I'll get some peace of mind. So that's where I'm headed towards, is peace of mind. So even like supplementals, have largely cease. I will probably do Omega Storm Part 2, the Georgie Porgy, wrapping that up as like it's that'll probably be like the last supplemental. Just because if there's more Graveyard Shift, I might just be the guy drawing it. I might bounce back and forth from like godlike Graveyard Shift, nice. Something like that. So I'll have to figure it out, unless I find some wonderkin that doesn't mind drawing and actually delivering on time. So, if you're going to be a pain in my ass, then, sorry. I got dreams too, and I got high blood pressure. I don't need you. and pre-diabetes. So, yeah.
We've had that for a long time though.
I don't need to be stressed out about every fucking flunky out there. So
what do you do for health management to make sure things stay in check?
Smoke weed, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've heard
mow my lawn, stain my patio deck. That's what I'm doing right now. Restaining my concrete patio, stamped patio. So
do some grill streams.
Oh yeah, do some midnight grill streams. Those are always fun. So
does that help? I always hear like the carnivore diet, people's health turns way around as soon as they're on it.
Yeah, I mean, when I did full carnivore last year, I did that thing for like I pledged to do it for 2 months. I ended up staying on it, I think another month or something like that. And yeah, I mean, my weight went down incredible. I felt really good. I think for if you and I went hardcore, like, I wasn't cheating with like, here's a strawberry, or here's a little bit of salt. Like I was just straight meat. I was eating barely anything else, maybe a salmon here or there. But it was a good diet. It was a good diet. I think largely like, you just got to keep your weight down, so, and now I'm on probably more or less a low carb diet, more than I would say is a carnivore diet, just because I will eat a strawberry or, some watermelon or something like that. So, yeah, I got to get out there. I got to start exercising. That's where you really see the gains. Just walking. I mean, I'm in my house. I could be in my house all week and never leave. And I would be perfectly fine. Like you could send me to Mars in a rocket ship and by myself, and I would be just fine. I'd be like, I don't care, so just pay me a lot of money to do it. Yeah, I draw, hop online.
6.
I do a grill stream from orbit, So yeah, no, I'd get a lot of work done drawing for sure. So just lock me in there. I'll have like next 6 volumes done by the time I get back. But yeah, no, you probably should take care of your health a lot better than I do.
Well, it's like it's an American struggle, right? Like everybody, they just can't get it together. I don't know what it is,
or
the
us.
food or what it is. First world problems. We're all dying.
Yeah.
We have too much food, too much.
We can eat whatever the hell we want.
Too much freedom.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah,
jam all the chemicals and everything too. That doesn't help. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, wrangling talent and stuff like that, it's a real pain in the ass, to the point that I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna do it, do this stuff, minimize it. So Von Klaus, I'm still working with him. I had written Got Like 2 supplemental with James Murphy. Is that the right one? James Murphy, Professor Murph. So I like working with him as well. He kind of just does the work, turn it in, so he's been really a pleasure to work with. And but Vaughn is also a pleasure to work with, but I got to get with him so we can go over the script, so we can get his supplemental story going for God Like 2. So that'll probably be in the next couple of weeks here.
Has it been harder working with creatives in this social media open, Wild West space relative to the industry? Where do you think?
Yeah, because they all come back and backstab you. Like, like in the early days of CG, like it felt good. It's like there's a lot of talent out here. You want to work with people, you want to help people, but also you're not a fucking charity. Like there were a lot of people hanging around, and like talent's just not to the level that you want to do work with. And a lot of these guys were launching their own projects, and they didn't see the results that they wanted. And like, you're the fucking asshole. And like, I don't even fucking know you. And then that you do hire people, and then they apparently have some bone to pick with you that you never knew about. And it's like, well, go fuck all yourselves. So yeah, I've just had, just what are a bit of entitlement out there. And, I understand it, like I can see where they're, a lot of these people are coming from, but I'm not paying people to have to fucking deal with you. Like I just want you to do the work. I don't want to be your dad. Don't want to be your mom. I don't want to have to loan you cash. I'm sorry that your dog died. I just need the work done. Like just do the work.
Is this the case, like with part-time people who are doing it, at nights after hours, and also full-time?
I guess you could say hobbyists. People that like, and a lot of people have the attitude like, this is my hobby. This is like, it's not your hobby when I'm paying you. Like I'm your client now. Like this is what the work is, and we have schedules that have to be met, and they don't want to break away from the idea that like they're doing you a favor. Like, you're not doing me a favor, I'm paying you. Like that's the thing. Like I have, like if I have family come over to my house and actually help me out with something, I offer them money because I don't want to be like, remember that time I helped you out? You know, come here and put my roof on my house. Like
Screwing my
I
toilets.
remember the time I paid you to come out here and help me out. So if you want to,
Family
pay
will
me,
always bring that up.
I will definitely help you put the roof on your house.
Just get the Mexicans to do it. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. You know, it's like I just try to keep this professional. You know.
Yeah,
So
the Mexicans just do it for like a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
The what?
The Mexicans will just do it for a 6-pack of beer. They can't ask for money.
Yeah, Mexicans are great.
Get them to draw the comics, you know.
I did. Jose Garcia is a Mexican.
Damn it.
I think somewhere I became the devil to him too. You know, I mean, just like you know, I don't know what to tell you guys. So just do the work, do it when you say you're gonna do it, how you're gonna do it. You know, that's it.
That sounds like artist culture, though, like the way you were talking about it earlier, where there's back and forth and entitlement and blaming you and all this other stuff. Like, is it always?
Well, it's a lot of loser artist culture. Like, it seems like that's all the artists because that's a lot of the people that are around here. They're fucking a lot of fucking losers hanging around us. So a lot of these guys, they weren't good enough for Marvel. They weren't good enough to write for Marvel, good enough to draw for Marvel, ink for Marvel, color for Marvel, or DC, or even Image. These guys never went anywhere on their own talent. And then, you know, there's a handful of us professionals that tried to give them some publicity. They still failed to bring in an audience, and we're the bad guys because, again, it's easier to blame somebody else because you don't want to admit that you couldn't fucking do it. But they could never do it. They never did it. They never succeeded. They never achieved their dreams on their own to be working at a Marvel or a DC. And it's because they suck. They all suck. So, but they don't want to admit that. It's hard to admit that. And it's tough love for me to say that. But when these guys come at us the way that they do, understand they're fucking losers. So they're failed dreamers. And I'm sympathetic to that right until the point that you're talking shit. You know, about my wife or, you know, I don't know, your hangups about my birthday. Like, sorry, guys.
Some deep lore there.
Sorry, I hurt you all so fucking bad. Nobody hurt me as much as you hurt yourself. I didn't hurt you as much as you hurt yourself. But that's always been them. Like every failure, every achievement has always been them. Not me. Your failure to find an audience, that's been you. Your failure to get people excited about whatever it is you're doing, that's been you. That's not me. I'm just another guy on this fucking planet. And if somehow my approval is whether or not you are successful or not, well, that doesn't say a lot about fucking you, man. So I clawed my way into this industry. And it wasn't easy. It took years. It took you know, decades to learn how to draw, to be fucking cool, to do cool shit. I didn't treat it as just like you know, just something that I was casually interested in. I'm passionate about comic books.
It wasn't a hobby.
Creation. Yeah, my passion to create comics surpasses yours. To nth degree, it's huge, and that's why I do this stuff. You might be a hobbyist, you know, and it's okay. Be a hobbyist. Try to make your comic, you know, but, you know, don't ask why I'm ahead because I take this a hell of a lot more seriously than you guys do. You guys might have read comics, you know, I'm not talking to you guys on the panel. I'm talking to the naysayers. You guys might have read more comics than me. Maybe, you know, how many more girlfriends Peter Parker had than I do. But when it comes to comic book creation, I'm your god. I am your fucking god, and you're not even close. Not even close. Ethan is your god. Shane is your god. You guys, we all worked our way into this fucking industry. We know what the fuck we're talking about because we went through years of shit to get into it, including Shane going to fucking college. I don't, you know, like art school.
Well,
you know, PBR. Yeah, it's like I'm just saying, like the amount of knowledge that's out here and passion. To create, to be a creator. We weren't hobbyists. We weren't taking this stuff unseriously. We're very serious about, you know, comics. So that's why you fell behind. That's why you can't win, because you don't have what it takes.
Yeah, Woden Shot. I haven't seen Woden Shot here before. Welcome. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, so
what's
is the problem though there hasn't been like a Laird and Eastman or a Mike Mignola or these more indie established names come up in this scene yet? Like those guys, they didn't work for the industry, but they did make a mark on the on comics.
Yeah, I mean, you're comparing a 1980s comic book market, I guess, to 2025. World of difference. We're in shambles. So the comic book industry is not what it used to be at all. I mean, there's just I think a lot of the stuff is we don't have balls, and I like Mark Miller stuff. I like reading his shit, and Frank Miller too, clearly. But I felt like those guys had balls. Even Laird and Eastman, I'm not a big Turtles comic fan. I felt like the cartoon, I was too old for it, but I enjoyed it. My little brother was really all about like the Turtles. And that's actually what got me drawing into the comic book direction. Was he wanted me to draw him Ninja Turtles. I drew Turtles. Then my older brother shoplifted a bunch of comic books, and then I was like, oh, these are better than coloring books. I'm going to start drawing these things. And what the differences in the market, man. I mean, it led into the huge 90s fucking boom. A lot of money, and like I think of it as like the platinum age, and no one's dubbed it yet that to my knowledge, but the 90s was like the platinum age of comics, independent comics, mainstream comics, everything. And like everything was just money. So much money. Animation studios looking for content. I don't know if any of that exists anymore. You want that big, I don't know, breakout hit. That's fucking hard. So that's lightning in a bottle.
I'm not sure if it's going to get much better, because if we're going to right now, the indie scene's like online. A lot of it seems to be, and you're not online. You're not allowed to critique anybody, so you can't really get any better if you don't allow for critique. And I think that's a make or break thing for an artist. What separates the wheat from the chaff is that how well you can take critique, and not just like, oh, I'm not going to complain or bitch at you. I mean, if you can take critique and then utilize it, that's another skill altogether. So your usual typical online artist is like, oh, how dare you say anything negative towards my stuff? I'd hate you now. And then there's the ones that go, okay, thanks for the feedback, and then do nothing with it, just toss it aside, no matter how useful or terrible the advice might be. And then there's the people who can actually take critique and kind of like look into it and say, okay, maybe that's useful. Maybe I'll run with that. It's a huge thing. And I think before the online space was huge. I mean, people, even the indie creators would have to, they had no choice but to eat up that critique. They didn't really have any other choice. They had to get better. They had to go through that hell and then improve where they could so they can be more recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was on message boards back in early 2000, like 2000, 2001, 2002, and I was taking all my lumps there. And, essentially where we're at now, which is other artists shitting on you and vice versa back. Hey, that's fucked up. You can't draw a wrist, that was like big drama on, pencil jack and digital webbing back in those days. So some of you guys know what that is, but that's where a lot of some of the young talent of the early 2000s came out of. Mark Brooks came out of there. Scotty Young came out of there. Kirkman and his guys came out of there. But yeah, that's where we're at. And we were fucking busting each other's balls left and right. I got kicked off of Pencil Jack, excommunicated from Pencil Jack. Imagine that, me getting kicked off of somewhere because I got a loud fucking mouth. I feel like I was right in everything I ever said about that and the people in there. But I'm just saying, it's not like we came to this place out of nowhere in 2018. and everyone has been, like, oh, now we learned how to draw. It's 2018. No, from 2000 on, I was online and I was taking all the shit, from everybody left and right, other artists, Tony Walker or Tony Moore or Corey Walker, those guys, they were on there. Ryan Otley, he was on there. All these guys were on there. Some of the other what are Funkatron people, and yeah, I mean it was brutal. It's fucking brutal, and dealing with that stuff, and from the early days, and getting better as an artist. I got a lot better. Like just kept leveling up. Even in people that might have criticized, and this is what I think about criticism, period, is it's hard to tell somebody that they're right, about some critique, about whatever they're saying about, your work, your art, whatever. It's hard to be like, you're right. That takes a real strong person to be like, you're right. But you bite your tongue, you're like, oh, like that. And then you implement the information quietly, and you try to improve upon that. I think that's probably the more common reaction to criticism. And it's difficult. Again, I sympathize when people are protective of their stuff and making excuses. We've all been there, and not to mention the countless portfolio reviews from going to conventions as kids. You know what I mean? Like that, growing up, getting, starting to go to conventions, set up at convention tables. My first convention wasn't last year at C2E2. I've been setting up at conventions in early 2000s, when I didn't even have the talent to be setting up, but I was setting up there trying to sell art. So, I mean, this stuff, we didn't just spring out of nowhere. We weren't hobbyists. We were people that took this stuff very seriously, and now it's 2025, and you want to wonder why we're on, a different level. It's because we've already been through all this. We've been through all the fucking heavy critiques, and people have been chiseling us out of stone with their insults for 20 fucking years before we ever showed up here as part of Comicsgate and trying to help all these other fucks out. But they're very sensitive. They're very sensitive, very entitled. They're not used to being told why they're losing or why they're losers. Sorry, you are. And I don't want to be that guy being like, you're a fucking loser. But when you guys turn into these monsters because you didn't get your way financially or whatever through a campaign, what's that got to do with fucking me? I'm just another fucking guy in the internet. If you're going to put all your fucking hopes and dreams on my fucking shoulders, you're fucking retarded. Fucking retarded. So,
well, the space is like, I brought this up in the last review we did, where reviews are now blood sports. Like everything is blood sports, and criticisms are blood sports. And then criticisms are, it's hard enough to take them, like you were just saying, you got to grit your teeth and just implement it quiet. And even for me, like when I do these reviews now, I got to walk on eggshells with broken glass mixed in, and it's a challenge. Like, how do you continue?
Well, now if you criticize something, it's almost like there's an allegiance. It's like who's well-read leaning towards. What side is he on?
Blue team, red team.
Yeah, he seemed to really give a lot of shit to this book and not a lot of shit to that book.
Picking all the corn out of my shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I was supposed to praise. I was supposed to praise Graveyard Shift. Apparently, I was supposed to be like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever." Nothing there. It's all just great, fantastic. Two thumbs up.
You can criticize and like you can nitpick anything, even really good work. You can pick that shit to pieces if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
It's just like. But the thing is again, like if you're going to come after me, you're going to come after Ethan, Shane, whatever. Like, again, we've been doing this stuff for a long time. We've already taken all these lumps that these guys are now first experiencing, or seemingly no one's ever told them they're not that good before. The fans are telling them that because they're not buying their stuff. They're not that interesting. They're not that entertaining. You can nitpick my art. I nitpick my art You know, I look at stuff that I, do 2 months ago. I'm like, ugh. So it's just the life of being very critical on yourself to do better, because you know that there's people out there that just want to shit on you, but you have to hit a certain level. So if you're going to shit on me, Ethan, or Shane, it's like we've already been through the stuff that turned us into, the people that we are. We are the hardened statues now, and we're pretty damn good. So our any critiques towards our art are going to be much smaller than what we could fucking hand down upon somebody that isn't at our level. And look, I've been there where I thought I was at that level, but I look back at what stuff I was doing in early 2000s, and I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? I see it, I'm so bad, but that stuff is on the level of a lot of stuff that's being produced out here right now. It's garbage, but I know that artist is sitting there being like, I'm fucking the shit, because that's what I thought. I was like, I'm the shit. Look at me when I drew it. But you get 2 years on, and you're like, oh yeah, that's not great. That's not great. And and I think I did that with one of my Nitrogen issues. I think I did a stream, and I just started picking through it. And I was like, that sucks. And if it was anyone else's book, they would have been like, oh, John's just being mean to me. But I was talking about my own work, and I could do that with almost any book that I've worked on. I could start going through there and being like, wish I would have changed that, done this different, that different. So when I look at somebody else's work that hasn't been going through all the corrections of the early 2000 message boards and whatnot, yeah, I could shred you. I could absolutely shred you. Ethan could shred you. And Ethan is actually very kind and generous, I think, for most people, most people's work.
Is it harder to learn to be too? It's harder to learn to be a good writer, though, than it is to be a good artist. Like Ethan always makes this analogy, like you got to get people to read your stuff. Mm-hmm. And just getting them to read it, but then also to give you, detailed criticism on that, it's a challenge. But an artist, you present your art, and people immediately will have a response to it, and so you can improve based on that.
Yeah, some people like to be read. Everyone, see, a lot of people like to write. It's not everyone wants to be read, because saying that you're a writer comes a little bit of instant prestige. So as people read your work, they can kind of find out that because no work is perfect. So then they're like, oh, here's what kind of writer you are.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing with writing, from my perspective, is that first of all, that's why I started writing, because I feel like most writing especially comic book writing, is absolute shit. So I'm like, if I'm gonna have to draw somebody else's shit, I might as well just write it, because I'm like, I think I can do better than the shit that I'm seeing other people doing. I can at least be on par with that shit, but why should I have to be drawing somebody else's shit or working with other people when I think I can actually do better work? But the writing is like, you can finesse it. You can, like a lot of writers, just like anything else, it's the subtleties. And yes, the subtleties do matter. But at the same time, I think a lot of people lose sense that, like, ideally you're trying to entertain people, and that's what I think, like, that Superman movie did fairly well, and I think that's what, like, Tarantino does fairly very well. Is there's a certain degree of entertainment in, like, his dialogue, and some of that just explosive energy that comes out. You have to have, like, oh shit moments in something that, like, in Megastorm, obviously the guy fucking the girl's head, throw that in there. That's entertainment. It may not be good hybrid entertainment, but that's entertainment. That's something, like, people will be like, oh, okay, all right, all right, that's something that's gonna stick with me. But yeah, you can have your subtleties, and a lot of, I think a lot of writers just really suck each other off in their subtleties. Like, oh yeah, he's really got that smooth finesse of what he's writing. But they get lost in the fact that primarily they are there to kind of be a clown. Like, you need to put on the nose, you need to put on the stupid shoe, you need to do something, you need to get out there, wave your hands around, and say, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," in your writing. You gotta have those oh shit moments mixed up in there too. Otherwise, people are just writing fucking like romance novels or something like that. Boring.
You want to get an emotional response, like the end of Omega Storm. That people were like, oh, that's shocked. You'll get shocked response. You'll get some angry, some terror. I don't think something like that. So yeah, you do need to get
the horror of it. I hope also horror is going in there. You know, that this woman's head is alive. It's being preserved and raped for a prolonged amount of time. Just it's fucked up because that's someone's wife there. So I hope the horror of it is going in there. It's not like I'm getting off doing that. I'm like, how do I just,
as far as we know,
what is fucked up? What is fucked up about the most fucked up thing I could think of. And I was like, oh, well, fucking the head is pretty fucked up. And I'm like, what if that head's alive and aware that it's being fucked? And I was like, okay, that's about as far.
It's a little bit worse.
I think that's about as far as I can go with that concept. And so there we go.
Do you get a lot of mentoring for your writing? Have you been raked over the coals yet thoroughly on a message board?
No, none of that trial by fire stuff. Again, I think the writing is so bad, even around here. I think it's just so bad that most people just don't recognize that. I'm probably just a little bit better than that. So, like I don't know, man. I'm just not that. I'm not really that, and I almost feel like with the writing, I just want to be left alone and just kind of like do things, like one guy might want to try to neuter me, or get me to do more of the finessing. And I'm like, that's almost like a crab in the bucket to me. Like, I don't want to hear, more about the subtleties. And the subtleties are one thing. It's about these bigger moments, like the macro of what's trying to be accomplished here and what people are going to hopefully remember down the road, including Graveyard Shift Volume 6, when we put in those reveals, those 2 reveals of Vlad's other projects. I hope that, is looked at and been like, oh, okay, that's a pretty fucking cool thing. But then you'll also be able to look back and you'll be able to see that, these pieces are largely set up here and they've been right here in front of us this whole time. Of course he is going to do that. And hopefully people look at that and say, well, and with Mark's help, that's a sign of a good story, a nice setup. We got some setup. We got pieces lying right here. All we have to do is show you them being right here. And it's I think people are going to like it. But Graveyard Shift is definitely not your 20-page done in one story. It's the Odyssey, and Godlike is probably also very much like the Odyssey. It's trying to get to a place that's much further down, and there's stories going on here, chapters, if you would. So,
are we going to have a classic series come out of the indie creative space if we don't raise the bar on the writing, or you think that that's not going to elevate it ultimately?
Look, I think we should have great writers. I think we should have great artists. All people doing top level professional work. The more people doing that is going to eventually there will be a standout, like something that might break through. And I don't even know what breakthrough means, because again, we're in 2025. It's not like TV's not what it used to be. Animation's not what it used to be. People are going into AI, like, are they going to farm us, or are they just going to see what we're doing and run it through an AI and have something spun out from our ideas that are, I don't know. So I don't know what that is in 2025, really. I mean, maybe there's a TV deal out there, like a Prime or something. I don't know.
Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, but we might, I feel like we might be at the end of that time. Like, again, AI is probably going to start. I was watching commercials the other day, just on TV, and I was like, like a McDonald's or something. Actually, I think it was Culver's, burger place commercial, and I was like, this whole thing could be AI. you know, it's just people in Culver's uniform talking about sandwiches and the burgers. I'm like, none of these actors need jobs. You know, you don't have to pay these guys. You could just AI this whole commercial right here, and it's almost to the point that nobody would even know. So, yeah, I think everything is going to get rethunk over the next 5-10 years, and I don't know if, you know, farming content IP is going to be part of that process anymore, because it'd just be easier to change some ideas and run through an AI, and then you get, you know, godlike, but you just call it something else and you change the designs up a bit, and then you don't have to pay people, you know, you don't have to pay Kirkman to do Walking Dead, because you just spit out something like it, you know. So even though that's a zombie, so maybe not the best example. It's not that complex zombie show.
Yeah, I feel like AI is going to have its heyday once it gets, you know, good enough where people are entertained by the output and they can actually tell a story with a narrative. But there is going to be a point where people feel like, yeah, this is derivative, and I can tell this is AI, and I miss the unique contribution of a human creator actually delivering on something new.
Yeah.
And at some point it's going to get cliche and played out, and they're going to go back to.
But you're also going to get to the point where there is going to be a standout, a Laird Eastman, someone doing the AI, and they're going to come up with something really cool. They're going to guide it. And then it's just going to explode. So, you know, but I mean, that's going to be AI. That's not going to be, you know, that might be a series or a film or something you're watching, more so than whatever independent comic book market. You know, I don't think we're going to have any big, huge revelation. What we need is you just need great story. We need great art, and not worry about those other things, I think. And whatever happens to those more successful creators, more power to them. It's just, I just don't even know what's worth predicting anymore in terms of where you go for TV, film, animation. I think it's all great. I've said it before. I think Eric July will probably be the first one to get an animation deal or a TV deal or something like that. But, you know, he also might be one of the last generations of comic book people where studios give a fuck about anybody's IP that isn't completely owned by the company. So,
well, the studios still sit on money ultimately, and they are going to be looking to produce something. Like, you know, Nolan is still doing IMAX movies. It might be in a dying phase. It's not dead, and it's got at least 10-15 years left in it. Yeah. But yeah, I think in terms of like original creative content, yeah, AI is definitely going to become a tool in a creator's toolbox. And at some point you do have to figure out how to leverage that and then access all these media to get to a bigger audience, like TikTok and, you know, just all these outlets where the kids are typically.
Yeah, well, I've said when we had these AI discussions, you know, over the last few years, you know, I said, look, guys, I'm not going to poo-poo it, because, like, if I can teach an AI to draw just like I can draw, I could write, you know, 20 godlike stories a week, you know, and have my bot draw exactly how I'm going to draw. But improved, I guess, you know, because I can just keep feeding it more and more information. It's a fucking computer. And I said, you know, I mean, that might be a market where you could have a Jim Lee bot and you license it from Jim Lee or whatever, and you get to have basically an AI draw whatever it is you're writing in the style of top tier Jim Lee or Death Blow Jim Lee. You know, I mean, there's a lot of possibility of, you know, coming down the line about that stuff. And, you know, it could be incredibly useful tool, you know, because I mean, I'm a storyteller. I think I'm a storyteller. I got a lot of things I'd like to do, and I don't have enough time to do it. So especially more and more as I'm just more and more disillusioned by bringing other people on and trying to make that be part of my process. You know, I'm just like, wait, if I could AI me and do everything in my style, like, that's not something I'm necessarily wanting to run from. I'd love to just be able to draw everything I want to do, but you know, I'm old and I'll be dead. So, but if I could
AI, one thing someone mentioned about AI is that it probably won't replace artists eventually. for one reason, the AI doesn't get horny. There is no sex drive with AI. And so humans have that animalistic sex drive, that horniness that might not always produce sexual imagery and creativity, but it's always there. It's always present.
I think the AI stuff is just going to be much more. You're going to be able to edit everything more. Like I every image that an AI makes up, there's no reason that it can't actually work as like a 3D model. So like if I wanted to get eventually, if I wanted to, within a scene, I should be able to move the camera wherever I want the camera moved. I should be able to tweak any part of that AI body ever so slightly. Put in, I don't know, what are they, prompts, right? For more smoke, mist, she's dripping wet, and you're going to be able to edit in, I think, your lust, anything you think is missing from that image. Total control is where it's going to get at. So,
but it's always going to be the AI's representation of what it thinks you want, right? And at some point, that's going to become contrived and generalized. And
I don't know, man. I mean, there's I don't know how many points of input this thing's.
Yeah.
A lifetime of material for it to look at and absorb and whatever. So, I mean, God, any comic book artist, especially, in the realm of, people I like, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, they reuse the same pose, but every time you're like, damn, that looks good, man. So yeah, I'm not here trying to, explain, how AI is probably going to take over everything, but it'll probably take over everything. So I think there are, people hopefully
not going
still want to draw, because I almost feel like learning how to draw and learning how, like that's like almost like developing muscle, and then hopefully you go to, if you are going to go to like an AI, that you can actually kind of start from that point where you have this knowledge and you have a little bit more understanding of what it is that you want out of that, almost like a director. When the whole who was that guy that was talking about, I'm an AI artist now, I'm but he dressed as a knight, hung out with Friday Night Tights, whatever.
Yeah, I'm blanking on.
Yeah, he's like, I'm an artist now. It's like, you're not an artist, you're a director,
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with being a director, because you didn't create the outfits, you didn't create the Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt creates Brad Pitt, and the costume designers did the outfits, and the scene people made all the scenery, and everybody has a job, but you are a director. So Shadowversity, thank you, Boo Brancher. Yeah, so you're a director, and I don't see anything wrong with being a director. So I'd love to direct. I'd love to do an AI film. You know what I'd love to do, actually, like, is I've always said, so I've said this online, actually, before all the AI stuff was coming out, is I'm like, I just want all these college kids to take the 1980s Transformers, the movie, and make that real with all their computer modeling. And it just is like, hey, get all these college kids together. Let's redo that thing shot for shot, but with computer modeling. Keep the soundtrack in there, the original voices. You got Orson Welles and Leonard Nimoy in there. Keep all that stuff, but make it real, shot for shot. That's always been a little bit of the dream, and maybe that can happen with AI. Maybe I can run that movie in and just say, hey, make this real. And all of a sudden we get fucking front to back Transformers the movie, but it's all 3D rendered, or looks 3D rendered, and that'd be fucking awesome, man. Like that, and I also had a dream to re-edit or the Conan the Destroyer. I'm like, I think there's a good movie buried in here, but you're gonna have to edit the shit out of it. I'm like, I'm gonna need all the footage they threw away. Like, give me all the raw footage one day to Conan the Destroyer, and I will make that a good fucking movie.
We'll get another we'll get 20 cuts of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
people are gonna be like, no, mine's the best one.
Yeah. Keep editing that thing until it's done.
Conan the Barbarian was such a great movie, and I love it so much. And then I see Conan the Destroyer, and I'm just like, and I know part of what went wrong is Arnold, I'm sure, demanded more lines and because he just won't, basically compared to the first one, he won't shut the fuck up. So yeah, and I don't know, the wizard scenes, again, before AI, I'd say I need some college kids to redo some of these special effects, go in there, fix that stuff up. But now with AI, I might be able to do it all by myself one day. It might be 10 years from now, but one day I'm going to re-edit this stuff with fucking AI just as a hobby, and I'm going to give it the fuck away and say, here's how I think these things should have been. And they're so close. So, in a perfect world, I'd have all the scrap footage, and that way I wouldn't have to do anything except for what was actually shot, and go in there and, fuck around with that stuff. That'd be great.
Sequel trilogy for Star Wars. I can't wait till all the AI of those come out. There's going to be 1 million. So
wait, is that the Ray stuff or
the Ray stuff?
The prequel, sequel. Okay,
yeah. Everybody's chomping at the bit. There was one guy. He was a Mexican dude. I think he tried to re-edit the first one, Force Awakens. I forget his name, but like he was crowdfunding for it and everything.
Really?
Was it the actual edit or the one where he takes out all the women?
I don't remember exactly. I know he was doing it for a while. I don't think he actually put it out. He was with Geeks and Gamers. He was always on their channel. They were promoting them for a while, but I don't think he ever got to the finish line.
Yeah, I think passionate fans are gonna be able, and that's probably gonna be another thing with AI, because like, take anything that's out there. I love the Superman movie that's out right now. You know what I mean? But there's certain parts in that where I'm not about it. But
oh my gosh.
These kids are going to be able to take this stuff and they're going to AI this stuff and they're going to make better movies. Like from, they're going to say, I didn't like this. I'm going to fix that and, fix that, move that, and whatever. I mean, like they're going to have all the tools to do this. All they need is time, and kids got plenty of time. So that might even be exciting, but there's going to be a lot of experimentation, probably a lot of lawsuits and, But I mean, look, Hollywood's already been slowly doing this stuff in a way with all the different like Donner cuts and Snyder cuts and, re-edits of that, So
they'll probably just charge licensing, honestly. Like if you're redoing their stuff, they're just going to want a cut of anything that you make off of it.
Yeah, well, I think most of those in that example are going to be done for free, but then the smarter people are going to say, well, this doesn't have to be Superman. It could be my guy, put my guy in there. And, again, like once you got that stuff going, like you start popping one thing out, put something else in there, and it starts becoming your own thing. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be the Mozart, that comes in there and is just really, really good at AI, and we're gonna have great AI movies like comedies. I think that'll probably be one of the first things is probably like a Pixar, kind of thing, that like a big hit out of AI. What is the big breakthrough one? I think it's probably gonna be like someone's gonna do some kid thing. Might even be real simple, little circles or squares, but they're characters. And, but if it's funny, I mean, look, like they had that, what is that? A stick man? I don't know what it is. The stick figure drawn children's books, they're taken off, and it's like that's dumb and stupid and retarded. Like kids don't.
A wimpy kid or something like that.
Is that what it is? I thought there was like a stick man. I don't know.
I can't think of it.
Figure man. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't know what the fuck these kids are reading, but it's all fucking retarded. So
yeah, Dog Man and stuff.
Yeah, Dog Man. Right.
Captain Underpants.
So AI could probably already do that level stuff.
Sure.
So but films and that's where it's really going to pop off. Is
when you think. You said you think Eric July is probably the end of the line of like IPs that'll get an animation deal.
I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. I think he's probably lining. I think that's always been his plan, is to line up to sell these as TV pitches and animation. I think a lot of people have gone and looked at comics as like a launching pad to getting into where they really want to be, which is Hollywood. And they want to be rubbing shoulders with celebrity and having the big properties out there, basically, the Kirkmans, I guess. I don't think Kirkman is that guy necessarily, but I think a lot of these guys are just star fuckers. They just want to be up in there in Hollywood. I think that's Eric July. I'm not trying to shit on him, but I think that's his plan, and that's why we see these animated trailers. That's why we see the Yaura live action bit. I think those are proof of concepts, and they're being shopped around. I also think that's why some of the people around him are around him, like the Soska sisters. They're in film, like they have contacts, so they could probably help him, or they know people that could help him probably to get this stuff under some of the right noses, 2-3 degrees of separation. So I think he's probably been lining that stuff up for a long time. Yeah, because I'm like, he's not doing these trailers and expensive live action shoots to sell his comic book. Like, he's not doing that for you or me or us. He's doing that for executives. If you think he's doing that for us, I think you're retarded. So, or just not very, very strategic. I think he may not be extremely bright, but I think he's strategic. And he might have made a bet that he can get this done before he goes broke. But I also think that he's stretched himself really fucking thin. And the decline in his sales is probably, if he doesn't get one of these things picked up by Hollywood pretty quick, is probably going to have to close his doors. So the warehouse is a big expense, but also having X amount of employees that you have to take care of. You got to pay them, you got insurance. There's a lot of expenses in there, and that stuff doesn't stop. It doesn't go on pause unless you're firing people. So that bill is going to keep adding up, and none of these campaigns have been $1 million ones. I'm not sure what happened with the Gary one, but I think even that was underperforming. So, you can say all you want that, okay, that's what we were hoping we'd get. It's like, I don't think that's what you're hoping to get. I think $1 million is a good amount for you to be getting for, all the stuff that you're spending, not to mention live action trailers and animation, RIPA animation, with statues. I'm just like, holy cow, man. It's a lot of spending. And if something doesn't pop off quick, I think he might be having to shut some stuff down big time. So,
well, it also sounds like he's the best positioned to probably get his IP picked up, and probably nobody's going to be able to surpass that at this point.
What do you mean surpass that?
Somebody else getting those connections and having a good shot at getting their IP.
No, I don't know about
animation.
that. I think if anybody was motivated, like I think if Ethan was motivated, I think Ethan could probably make 1 or 2 calls, and he could probably actually get an audience with some pretty high profile people. I think he could probably do that if he was really motivated to go out there and be like, I need to get a Cyberfrog animation done, but I want a studio to pay for it. So I think he'd probably get those meetings. I don't know if he could get it done or not, but I think he could do that.
Wouldn't it be better though, like at this point, to just go the AI route? Like, it seems like everybody's probably going to end up there anyway. Like, why even chase the big Hollywood, IP farm?
to do like a Cyberfrog animation or something like that.
Or graveyard
possibly. I don't know. Like, okay, so if I was to do that right now, I would say, and I'm not super into what AI can do. I know it's getting better, but like I said, to be able to edit everything as if it was like a 3D model, I don't know if that stuff is actually there, or even there to the point that would be that I would prefer it to be. So I think the technology probably needs a little bit more time to mature before I would even try to get in there and do that. Right now, it's like you get a cool little 5-6 second scene, it looks like, and it's like, okay, sometimes it looks like the figure is maintaining, but sometimes it looks like it starts to morph a little bit, or so I'm just kind of like, it's not exactly where I want it. But also, like, the look, You know, it's like it always looks like, I was talking about this the other day with Grok. Like you type in a prompt for Grok and it always has like one kind of look to it. And then I put in a picture of like the Howling, you know, where you can upload an image, and then I started asking it to edit that, and it gave it a different look. But I think that's important too. Like, you know, it's one thing that I could get like a godlike character to maybe move a little bit in the scene, but I got to be able to control everything, including the final look of it. I don't want it to just look like a Grok AI moving image, which, you know, it's fine and it's fun right now. I know people are kind of putting those out there right now, like moving images, but I wouldn't want to just put out shit. Like I'd want to control the atmosphere, the lighting. Again, I'm like a micromanager guy, so you know, like it's one thing to get my character to move, but to be consistent from shot to shot is important. But also, I wouldn't want that look to look like every other AI that's out there. I'd want it to maybe look grainy here or clearer in other places, or maybe I'd want to do a project where I'd want it to look like it was like from the 70s and it's a little scratchy, and but it's not coming off as AI, even grainy, low resolution, you know, like not, you know, just not so sharp, dirty things up a little bit. There's a lot more I would want to do to really be satisfied in whatever it is I'm making. And it's not just put in the prompt and that's it. Like there's way too much more.
You're saying more smoky and sweaty, basically, right? Yeah.
Well, just like the aesthetics of things. I don't want like just every AI thing kind of looks like the same camera lens, or you know, I'd like I need more. I need different looks and different feels. And I had to put in a picture and an old picture of like the Howling in order to get this kind of, and it came out looking like some kind of 70s horror film by the time I was done with that. A passion filter, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grok. More passion filter, please. And then you get grunge. Marilyn says, grunge would be all right. You know, if I wanted to do something that looked like, if we're going to talk music there, you know, like 9 Inch Nails Closer video, right? Like all that kind of film look that's going on. It's a little beat up, a little overexposed. It's just more interesting, and it would depend on the project, what I'm doing, but I could definitely see a future where I am fucking around with one of these AIs and trying to do something for Graveyard Shift, Godlike, and just seeing what we could do with that. But it's got to go beyond where it's at right now. And where it's at right now, it's pretty fucking amazing. It's just you got to have those controls, those editorial controls. Very specific, you know, because I might like everything about the image that I'm seeing, but there might be one thing there that I need this one thing tweaked. And you know, the handful of times I've done my thumbnails, I do them for like Jack's show or whatever, you know, I make up these stupid thumbnails. Like you ask it to do one thing and it fucks up 20 other things around it. And it's just like, shit, man, you know, like I was adding an axe to Cecil's character on their representation of Cecil, and they're like, add an axe, and like, and the axe head was like barely in camera. I'm like, raise the axe head up, but then like it warps his face more, you know, which it isn't even by, and it wasn't in the prompt. Or the werewolf figure who had these gnarly teeth, all of a sudden his teeth look different just because I asked for the axe to be raised, you know. So it's at least with Grok, you know, and that kind of simple image edit creation stuff, it's not specific enough. And I'm sure I can get more complex things if I'm paying for it, but I'm just gonna have to wait, but it'll happen one day.
I think people
it'll be more likely that I'm working on Conan re-edit before I work on fucking Graveyard Shift or Godlike, so I can learn, you know, and be like, all right, let's make this thing happen.
Yeah, paying out to the Schwarzenegger estate, you know, for your.
No, I'd give it away for free.
Yeah,
it would be awesome. It'll be awesome.
It would be.
One day it'll happen. Give me
Cool.
all that unused footage, Hollywood. Array.
Somebody hit up Arnold.
Yeah.
Tell those people to get on that.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate all the time, John. I feel like we've kept you kind of quite a lot. Are there any other topics
Fine, yeah.
you want to touch on? Anything you'd like to say to the chat?
Go check out, what do we have out there? Pit with Dale Keown is launched. There's a Pit trade paperback out there, guys. Go check it out.
About to hit 80,000.
Is that where it's at?
It's around 77,000, so it's getting pretty close.
Beautiful.
Got mine.
Incredible. There's a 4-pack on there. That's what I bought. I'm encouraging other people to grab that. Want to support this project as much as possible. Puts money in Dale's pocket, Mandy's pocket too. But the 4-pack is the 2 covers, but also the 2 covers with the holofoil version on there. So go out there, check that out. Make that another 6-figure. This thing's off to a great start at 80,000. So, and it's a trade paperback, I think 1 of 4. I think they're going to deliver this stuff. What does that say? June Beast bundle. Oh, I thought she was saying December. It's June 26th. Are they all June 26th?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, they'll deliver by June 26th. But I think they're going to keep doing these campaigns until all 4 are done. And I'm going to back it heavy. I just love the artwork that was coming out there back in the day. Back in 1993, I do believe it was. Because I was
What's your take on that whole controversy of whether or not you should use a trading card piece of art for a cover?
I don't know what the actual backstory on the card is, but if he paid for it, I guess it's his. So,
right.
Ultimately, do what you want, I guess. So, I try not to get into all these business decisions that other people are making. I'm just kind of like, whatever. It's not my thing. Like, even like the Eric July, he did $100 trading card set or $80 trading card set, and people were poo-pooing that. And I'm like, well, what if I wanted to do an $80 trading card set? I don't know if people are buying his, maybe they're going to buy mine for $80.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I mean, these are, not necessarily my business decisions, but if he paid for it, I can't really see what the comp or the argument is. But I really don't know what the backstory is.
Yeah, like it or not, there's people buying his stuff that could be also buying your stuff. They're buying indie comics off of social media, so you never know.
Yeah, but it looks great. And R.I.P. Michael Turner, man. So
yeah, he went way too fast. I had those old Fathom issues. So
yeah, and another amazing talent, just amazing talent. And I just loved what he did when he did was it Batman Superman. It had Supergirl and Darkseid in there, and just the art in there. I was just like, man, that's fucking great. The controversy is the artist died. Well, yeah, he died like 15 years, 10 years ago. Died a long time ago now.
Yeah. You didn't know him, did you? Did you ever work with him?
No. I didn't know him. No, I saw him, but didn't know him. And Smiller did the same thing with that whatchamacallit, Mike Waringo thing. Put that on a cover too. So that one's probably a little bit more controversial. So only in that as far as I know, it was a sketch of was it a Spider-Man sketch that Mike had acquired, and he repurposed it into with a little influence of me. I was definitely a devil on the shoulder. But he was already all I did was I said, well, if you're gonna do it, what did I say? Do it on board, so you can sell it.
Do it, Mike. You won't go to hell.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah. But Yeah, he repurposed, I think, a Spider-Man thing that he had that he might have bought somewhere else of
Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Waringo's and turned it into Lone Star, and then he signed it Waringo.
Right.
So, you know, here this is actual, you know, Mike Turner pit art. So,
That's true.
and again, if it was paid for, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess definitely if it was paid for, I can't really, you know, see the argument. Look, if you want to give a little money to his estate or something, that's up to you. That's up to you. But if I paid for something, you know, and I got it as a, you know, maybe someone did a print for me, and then I'd say, hey, that was a good print. Maybe 5 years later, I want to use. Now it's 5 years later, and I'm like, hey, I could use that as a cover. Okay, whatever. I paid for it. Again, if you want to be nice and kind or whatever, you can give a little bit of money to whomever down the road if you feel like that's something, you know, because again, I do stuff like I own what I do, whatever people do for me. So I pay them. I have contract stuff. So, but once you paid for it, I mean, it's pretty much yours. And, you know, ultimately do what you want. But, you know, some people might see it as being a little exploitive, I guess. So.
Is it? I mean, I thought, is it the issue that he drew it for a card and it's being used for? I don't get it.
I think that's what
personally.
people are saying. I think that's what they're saying. But that's what I'm saying is like, look, if you did a print for me, if you did something, I paid you for a pinup and I decide it's going to be a cover or a card, you know,
Right.
it's like, well, I own it. Ultimately, I own it, you know, so that's what I paid for. But again, if you wanted to be cool, I guess, you know, you could send extra money, you know, say, hey, I'm going to turn that into a cover. Here's a little bit of extra cash. You want to do that? That's fine. I don't think you have to do that. I think that's up to whomever's business is being ran.
It's a work for hire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once you bought that piece of art, ultimately it's yours to publish, you know, but again, depending on what your agreements are, whatever, you know, I'm trying not to poo-poo anybody
Sure.
in terms of that. So, you know, I think if Mike Turner's estate got a little bit of cash, doesn't hurt, I guess, you know. Or look, Tommy Patterson, you know, like, you know, he's done, you know, these pinups for me or whatever. And what if I want to put it onto a trading card one day? You know, am I the bad guy if I don't compensate his family for a trading card for art that I've already bought? You know, I think it'd be a nice thing to do. But I don't want to put anybody in position to be like, you owe somebody money on that thing. Because, you know, that's the idea of owning the art. So you don't have to worry about asking permission in my point of view. So
Right.
would it be cool? Sure. Give a little extra money here or there. Sure, it's cool. But ultimately, whatever, that's up to other businesses to decide.
Mark Poulton's Gun Goth. Let's plug that one more time before we head out. Go check it out,
Gun Goth.
guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like
or
it's people.
what's his other project with Chris Graves? I did a cover for it. It's Wraith, not Wraith of God. Shoot, what is that? Help me out, chat. What is that book called?
I'm trying to look at his campaigns.
It's got Writhe and Pain. Writhe and Pain. That's what it is. Go check out Writhe and Pain. There's a Malin cover on one of those books. You can check that out.
Oh yeah, it's in demand.
Yeah, Spring Ball, Shanthan Jetty. I did a cover on that as well. I did a cover for Andy Smith. It's the year of Malin covers, by the way, guys. Check out Lil and F. Andy Smith. Yeah, Writhe and Pain, book 2.
Yeah, there's little
Chris Graves. Sounds like everybody loves Chris Graves.
I've heard the name. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's getting around. People are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people are digging his stuff.
Yeah, he did something, one of the stories for Shane, I think. On one of the supplementals, I think the, what was it, Inglorious Rex supplementals. So
Hold on.
it's also nice to have on streams too, when he shows up.
He does ballers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, he was kind of like Patrick's basically replacement, but he's not on there enough to, you know, actually be considered that, I guess. So he's a guest, I guess, you know.
Right.
But yeah, Wooden Shot said he's pretty cool. He also said he theoretically does ballers. Yeah, in theory he does ballers. So, but he shows up there as a guest. So do I. I'm up there from time to time. I'm probably on there more than Chris Graves, but nobody wants to make me Patrick's replacement. I wouldn't do it, by the way.
Yeah, nobody can replace Patrick.
No, just I got dreams too. You know what I mean? Like I gotta figure out where I'm gonna dedicate my weekly time. So between Kang's and Jack show, that's pretty good. Those are
Are you pulling back a little bit from the hardcore streaming schedule?
a little bit, So, but whatever. I'll pick it up here at some point. I want to do more members only streams. Really, I want to do just some comic book review stuff and sit back, chill, talk to the chat. Yeah, look at that. There's my cover for Lil and F.
Yeah,
not too shabby. Yeah, I had 2 instances back to back. This one was picked from a layout that I just kind of chunked together. But when I did Spring Ball, I was trying to really do this McFarlane kind of character looking Spider-Man. And then I put a moon behind him and I was like, this is just ringing too much like McFarlane, like Todd. So I just gave a credit in there. I was like, I think it was after Todd on the Spring Ball one. So I'm just like, it's too much like a Todd cover. And then I did this. Or actually, this might have been first before the Spring Ball cover. And I did this. And this was the layout out of, I think, 3 that I chose. And I was like, when I was drawing it, I was like, this is kind of familiar too. And I was like, it's almost like a Jim Lee cover. And because what was it? Archangel, I think, is swooping in and knocking out Jean Grey. And then I put in that chick reaching for the tail. And in that same cover, there's like a Colossus, like with reaching his hand out. And it was very similar. And I was like, it's so close. I'm like, it wasn't intended, but I'm just like, I got to put after Jim on it. So on that rock, it says like Malin after, it might say after Lee or Jim or something like that on there too. And I was just like, man, what the fuck?
Let me grab that.
Just, I would say the influence was being channeled very strongly. So I was like, well, I'll just give a shout out to these guys because I love their work and who fucking cares.
This right down here, after Todd.
Yeah, that's the after Todd. Yeah. And then if you zoomed in on the Lil and F one, it would say after Jim or something like that. But they're not actually after. It's just, it's so much. This was just pouring Todd McFarlane love onto the page. But once I put that moon back there, I was like, oh shit, it's like Spider-Man. What is it, like 301? It's that Hulk cover. It's I'm like, it's just so much McFarlane. So I'm just like, I'll put after Todd. And then I ran into the exact same thing when I did the other cover. I was like, man, it's so Jim fucking Lee. Right down to Colossus reaching his hand out. I'm like, I'll just cover my ass. I'll say after Jim. But I think that turned out pretty well.
I mean, this one, absolutely. It's a great piece. And the knee over the back, like that's kind of a McFarlane thing.
This is me trying to break the bodies as much as Todd, and I still probably didn't do it enough because I think it still looks like things connect for the most part.
Yeah. And
Todd would just get crazy. But yeah, I even colored this one. So I'm trying to kind of replicate that 1990s just beautiful coloring that Olaf was doing on Spawn. And I think it came out okay. I made his blue too blue. Like if you look what Champ, like his is almost like an aqua blue. My blue is just like true blue. See, look at that blue.
Yeah.
So Champ never mentioned it, but maybe I should go back and change that blue up a bit.
A little creative license. Well, he's got like kind of a bluish thing here and this thing on the right. I don't know what that is.
Good point. Yeah, never mind. I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
So look, you had that blue underfoot, dude.
Yeah. This thing here.
Yeah, look, it does look a little bluer. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'm okay.
I think you're good. I think it works because all the colors are already balanced out. And
Yeah.
if you go in there and start making changes, you're gonna have to recolor the whole thing. So.
Yeah. And this one I just did to surprise him. I really loved that Shant had a real strong Todd McFarlane style when he was younger, and first did the Spring Ball book. And so almost right away I was like, whenever that thing comes out, I want to be sure that I'm doing hopefully a cover for it, but it doesn't have to be. But it is a cover. And so I did. I just did it. I surprised Shant with it. Now I was hoping he would ask me and then be like, hey, I want to pay you to do a cover. And I was like, money? But he never asked. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this thing pro bono because I need it to happen. Because, again, I like the idea. Yeah, this is pitched as Spider-Man meets the Evil Dead. And again, I'm like, what a great little hook there.
So he's like a zombie Spider-Man?
No, he's like he's some kind of crash test dummy that's been given sentience, and he's only this. Like, there is no person under the suit. So he's just this thing. But it's supposed to be him kind of in almost like a Lovecraftian world. So there was horror. So I was like, awesome. Well, I can draw Spider-Man with spawn bats. So I put spawn bats in there. Yeah. So I tried doing a little gothic-y kind of stuff, and very McFarlane, throw everything in the shadow. Todd would just black out most of his buildings. But hell of a lot of fun to do.
I like these teeth here too. This is like some monster thing, I guess.
Yeah, another Todd thing. Like Todd and Rob would do these guys from time to time. You'd assume they'd have like big gums and itty bitty tiny teeth, but like 100 of them.
Right.
So, if I was a little more clever, I probably should have just left that in black and white, that inset box, because I think most of the art that would go into those would just be black and white art, and that would be more of a Todd shout out. But I'm just coloring everything, So I was having too much fun, I guess, coloring this shit, and then leaving that stark white background with that.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Cool. Yeah.
So you'd want this as a virgin cover, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. I think he's doing it as a virgin cover. So meaning no title, no text on there for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it would be off with the white back. You wouldn't want that.
But I'm very interested in reading it. I think he was having some kind of where he's going to reprint the original run. So because he's revamped this, because he's 20 years wiser now. So he's kind of reconstructed the art. He's gone through and reworked a lot of the stuff in there, and it's crazy. So looking to find out, looking to read it and find out what all he's done in there. And that double page spread is just crazy too, that he did right there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I was gonna say this piece here, AI can't do this, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying is, like, if you could teach, it would be a lot more sound, but with editing tools, I would edit, to break things a little bit more, ideally in a perfect world. So, Thank you, Fugman. He said, John, you are a great artist, man. Thanks.
Yeah, Fugman's been showing you like tons of love in the chat.
That's good.
So,
Appreciate him.
Yeah, we like the love. Give us more. Well, thanks, John.
John is pro bone.
You are pro the bones.
No problem. Thanks for having me on here. Well read, Literature Devil, everybody else that was on the panel tonight. Appreciate all you guys for taking the time to read the book and go through it, form your opinions on it, and hearing all that stuff. It was great. On behalf of myself, Mark, the the late great Tommy Patterson and everybody else that worked on the book. Thank you guys for checking it out, and I hope you guys go back there and read everything. If you haven't bought Graveyard Shift, next year we'll have a campaign. Everything will be available there. I'll probably set up a smaller campaign. I was planning on doing that earlier this summer, where I just kind of set up like a store. So if that still happens, you guys will be able to grab some back material there. But still a lot more to do on it, and more adult oriented guys. So parental guidance suggested. But thank you guys for checking out the work and reviewing it. I do appreciate it. Anybody else out there does a review and they want to invite me on, happy to come on. And Mark, I'm sure. So, yeah. All right. Awesome. I guess I'll leave y'all to your show, and take care. Bye.
Well, all right. Later. Thank you to the panel, Lit Dev. It's great having you, and everybody who bounced out early. So, I don't know what thank you. I don't know what team this review is going to put me on. So is it red or blue? What team are you going to be on, you think, after this?
I don't know. I'll wait for the verdict to come down.
Yeah, we're going to need some critique on our critiques, whether or not we're what teams are playing for. Yeah. All right, everybody. So have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you all later.